All right, well, let's get into episode 162 of the Current Gen podcast. We're actually going to do a little flashback today, so I'm looking forward to that. The whole crew is here. My name's Tim. I'm here with Derek. Hello, Mr. Blanket.
Yeah.
We got Kyle with this awesome Star Wars shirt. Digging it.
Hey.
We got Dan over here who's added. We didn't notice this a few weeks ago. He did this a few weeks ago, but he's got now bleachers on his shelf for all of his figures.
You guys just never notice anything. You guys are always just
He's
walking
not
along
reading
me.
a
You
statement.
guys don't even care.
Stop
Yeah,
lying.
you don't say anything
And
about
we've
mine either,
never
Dan,
listening.
And then we've got Jeff with the awesome wool shirt.
Well,
Whoa.
it's from
So. Come on there,
Dudesy
dude.
and a new watch. It's a Hilfiger watch.
Oh, nice watch.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh,
I
we
like
we don't show the watches on this podcast.
Yeah, for you audio listeners, just trust me, it looks very expensive. And
It
when
does,
they-
yeah. I'm kind of jealous.
It does, yeah. Looks like it came with bubblegum. All right, so what? I'm just kidding. I don't know what that even means. I was trying to insult it, but I realized that's never been a thing. I was trying to insult it, but that's never been a thing. All right.
I
It
mean,
is now, though.
I used to buy baseball cards that came with bubblegum. So yeah,
Me too.
they were usually the cheap cards too.
Yeah, now you get watches. You get expensive.
Yeah,
watches.
now you buy cheap watches, they come with a pack of gum.
Ciao.
All right, so we're gonna talk about a couple new things we're playing and old things we're playing, whatever, in a little bit. We're gonna kick the show off. We're gonna go back in time. We have a little bit of a not a lull. That's unfair to say. There's so many games out, but we're in between major
Lull?
lull.
Sorry.
We're-
I didn't mean
What about
to
that,
derail you.
We're in between major game releases. So and we've got some big heavy hitters coming out over the next 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks and beyond. So wanted to take a chance to go back and re-rank an old year game of the year. If you're a listener or watcher of our show regularly, you know that we have been doing a few tournaments. The last one was actually last September. I looked back to see. I think it was September. So it's been a little while. And what we were doing was we started in the year 2010, and we just made a bracket, and I just gave them a arbitrary ranking based on Metacritic, which doesn't really mean much, especially looking back at older games. But it just gave them seedings, for a tournament. And then we ran through the tournament, and we would just kind of vote. Whoever was on the podcast would vote which game moves on to the next round of the tournament. It was very simple, very straightforward, a really non-scientific way to pick the best game of the year. But it was fun because the matchups are like, this is infuriating. Round
Absurd.
one, you've got these two games matching up for real. So you had a lot of that, but it made it kind of fun and silly and very not, it didn't carry any weight. It was more just for fun. So we got up through 2015, which The Witcher 3 won, shocker. And then
Overrated, right?
totally
I
overrated.
just want to say I tried Mad Max. I've really tried.
Mad Max did all right. I think was that 2015 too.
Didn't that do pretty good? Yeah.
We tried to push it through. I think it was up against Burke and Spurp. I don't even remember what it was up
There are
against.
some ridiculous ones that made it way farther than they should have, just based on our crew here and what we like. It's like, why is this game still in the tournament?
I forgot. Dan and I dragged one through some wins.
I think it was like Devil May Cry or something.
Yeah, I think it was
That
DMC.
sounds
Like
right.
That might have been the one
That
that
game
beat
is good, all
like
right?
Mad Max.
No,
or
I like.
Yeah,
It's
beat,
good.
like,
DMC is great. Yeah.
was Bloodborne 2015?
yeah.
So it beat, I think something like Devil May Cry beat that, and then because we were all like, "Oh, Bloodborne's a piece of crap," and like we were just immediately crapping on it, even though it's like one of the most acclaimed games by that developer.
I like it. Yeah.
I want to say,
I like
But you
this.
also
I
like
like this.
chaos.
Yeah, I do.
it was not Detroit, but the guy who creates those games.
Oh yeah.
One of
David Cage.
his
David Cage.
one of
yeah.
his games went
Yeah.
like we all liked it, but it went way too far. Like I
Heavy
think
Rain.
it actually won.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "What? How? No,
Yeah, that
it's
was
good,
before
but
they.
it's not that
he's-
good."
That was before he
Yes.
smoothed out his games
Yeah.
completely. Like Beyond Two Souls, like it got really consistently good, and then past that, like
Yeah, I
So-
always like to
Mechanically
say I
speaking.
liked Heavy Rain a lot, but people always like, well, what about this plot hole? I'm like, okay, yeah, the game's got a lot of plot holes.
Yeah, no, it's-
I still think Heavy Rain's his best game. Not
Me too.
saying
I
it's
like it a
like
lot, yeah.
objectively the best. It was just
Sure.
my favorite to play.
I did
Story-wise,
enjoy
right?
Detroit quite a bit.
Story-wise.
Yeah.
Detroit's
I
awesome.
love Detroit.
So, all right. So what
Cage
we're going to do
Corner.
instead of a tournament, now we might return to that format for other things, whether it's going back even further in history to do a tournament of other games. I still think that format's fun and kind of
Too.
pressure free. But we wanted to return to 2016, which honestly was the first year that when Derek and I were running the Fathers of the Grind podcast, it was our first year that we came up with a shared ranked list of favorite games. The year before that, we just kind of named, here's our favorites from 2015. Rocket League, Bloodborne, Witcher 3, and so on. 2016 is the first time that we were like, hey, let's come up with a shared list like we've seen a few other shows do, and let's invite some guests on for different categories. and then we landed on our top 10. And so here's our top 10 from 2016, and then the 5 of us are going to create a brand new, updated 2023 version of the best game, the top 10 games, I should say, of 2016. But here's where we landed in 2016. At number 10, we had Forza Horizon 3. Number 9, we had Hitman. Number 8, Titanfall 2. Number 7, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Number 6, Watch Dogs 2. Number 5,
What?
Gears of...
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, oh, you'll hear about it.
No,
Number 5, Gears of War 4. Number 4, Doom. Number 3, Final Fantasy 15. Number 2, Uncharted 4. Number 1,
Ugh, gross.
3. So
I know Dan
Three of
was
those are
not.
going away.
I know Dan Phillips was on
Yeah.
the show because
Friend
he's
of
the
the
one
show.
that helped me to get Dark Souls 3.
I heard, and
up
I
to the
quote,
top.
y'all bullied him into getting.
I did get bullied.
Bullied
That-
Tim into.
Go back and listen to
into
Fathers of
make
the
a-
Grind.
Don't worry,
episode.
don't worry, Tim. I got your back about Souls this time.
That was one of the
Yeah.
first episodes I think I listened to because I just joined a group at the time. So that sounds about right to me.
It was episode 68, according to my notes here, of Fathers of the
Yeah.
Grind, if you want to go.
Before the
hear
sexy one.
It was one of those years, and we've talked about this before. It's one of those years that when I finished that year, I didn't play everything. So I thought it was a pretty okay year with a couple of standouts. I didn't really stand out to me. But now that I've gone back over the last week getting ready for our discussion tonight, I'm like, there's a lot. I have like a top 30.
Where was
from this year.
Dishonored 2?
Dude, good question.
That's on y'all.
See,
Great
I
question.
think I didn't beat it. I think I beat it
I hadn't
later,
even
and
played it
now it's like top 5. Like
Yeah, hadn't even played it yet. So
that's crazy.
we'll get into it. But what we're going to do, and I'm going to share my screen, we're going to
Easy.
do what we normally do during our Game of the Year debates, where we bring up tons of different categories and we rank a bunch of lists. We're just going to rank one list, just our top 10 overall games of 2016.
Dan, were you on the show at that point?
No,
No.
Father's
No.
of the
No.
Grind,
no.
No.
I
Wow.
actually think it was
It's like-
Dan.
it's so-
I think the one
no.
vote was
No,
I
yeah.
think
sufficient.
it was-
Like,
but, you
those
know.
were the good days when Dan wasn't here.
I think it
Yes.
was Dan Phillips, and we may have brought Rudy on. So that's 3 like Souls like fanboys on, and then
Sure.
just Tim.
I know we split
I
up.
like how nobody blames Rudy for bullying Tim, which I really like. He's
Well-
got such a good reputation. It's like, well, he wasn't part of the bullying.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, Dan is from one of those Dakotas up there, Minnesota or something, right? And I always call him Canadian because he's pretty much Canadian at that point.
Sure, you might as
So
well
he's
be. Yeah.
super polite. He really is. It was Derek. Let's be
yeah,
honest.
Dan's
Derek.
very
It was
polite.
just there. Gee, shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker.
All right, guys. So
I think I was nicer back then.
it was a good time. I remember conceding like, hey, this
That's
is who we
cute.
have to pick this list, and I can't, like, you guys all have it as your number
You kind
one.
of buried your own grave there.
Kind of
sure.
had to concede at a certain point. But here we go. I've got a list. It says full list. This is actually not accurate. This is not a full list of every game from 2016. This was just a relatively full list of games that I think most of us care about, or at least maybe possibly care about. Now,
Badger's not on there, and Quadrilateral Cowboy's not on there, but that's okay.
Quadrilateral Cowboy, you're making things
That
up.
game is
Oh,
incredible.
do we have to
It
fact check
is
this game? I can't wait to
in-
prove him wrong.
That's not a
Incredible.
real game.
This was from the year that I actually got really deep into gaming again. Not
you and I were
like-
podcasting at this time.
Yeah, we were
so
podcasting and writing for
your
a
push to
website,
game was more and more.
and
yeah.
I was streaming as well, and like
Oh, were you
and-
really?
yeah, and
back when I was streaming too.
Yeah, exactly. We were
Wait,
both
what?
doing stuff. Yeah.
Is that correct?
So,
Is that how it is, Jeff?
Yeah, Quadrilateral Cowboy. Yeah, so I streamed that
All right.
and beat it, and it was like
It's not gonna win.
it felt amazing to beat it. Like it's such a challenging game. It looks ugly as hell, but it's
Despite though, I want it on the top 10 just because Derek said
no,
it's
it's
not
not
going
going to be in the top 10.
Just 'cause Derek said it's not gonna win.
Not gonna win. No.
to. Okay,
It's in
Mario,
my
it's a
personal
not
top
going to
10,
win.
obviously, but
It's
I
not
don't-
gonna win.
It's not going to win.
it sounds
All right,
better-
guys,
it
let's
sounds
jump
like
into
better
this.
Mario than Strat.
The way we normally
Thanks,
handle
Jeff.
this, if you're just listening, I've got a spreadsheet up. We've got our list on the left side. The next column is considerations. So we go around, we just say, here's a game I want to at least have considered. We'll try to trim it down to at least a 20. We might not even need this third column, depends on how it goes, but we probably will. And then
We might.
we'll get to our top 10. And
There's a lot of good games, so I think we will.
Hold on, can we just jump ahead and just to be stunning and brave and hilarious, just say that the first number 1 is No Man's Sky? Can we just do that?
No.
I like
Oh.
that game.
No Man's
Yeah,
Sky
let's
is
do
a
it.
great example of one that is so much better in 2023
Yes,
than it
yes.
was in 2016.
Yeah, no
I think Derek and I don't know who else was on for that particular episode. We called it our most disappointing game, and I was
Mm.
kind of there thinking like it didn't deliver for me what I thought it was gonna. I
Yeah.
still played it and liked it, but over time it kind of honestly has. So
It did become that game, yeah.
it did become that game.
Which is funny. That's not. I don't play it now, so it's in its best form,
Yeah.
and I don't.
I enjoyed it then. Like I actually
me
had a good
too,
time.
yeah. And
I had a good time
sadly,
with
I
it.
got my fill too. So
Yeah.
that's.
To be
that's
fair, I was never excited for it.
Yeah.
Like even when they were promoting it, when everybody was like, "This game," kind of like what Starfield is supposed to be. That's what everybody thought. What is it? No Man's Sky
Yeah.
was supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's start bringing some stuff over. I'm going to get us kicked off. I'm going to bring over Batman, the Telltale series.
You better bring Battleborn over.
I'm not bringing
No.
that.
Oh
Are you
my
bringing
God,
Battleborn?
I wish you just wouldn't
Dude,
say stuff
I
like
can't believe
that.
you just even
Battlefield
said that
1.
word. I
Battlefield
completely
1,
forgot
I
about
am
that.
like the only person that played that game. It was a great game.
Was
It's
it
like
really
on
great?
Earth. Yeah,
It
you're
was
right.
not great, but
Okay.
I did.
All right.
I
Did anyone play Bravely
semi-enjoy it.
Second, the
Yeah,
sequel?
it's a good game.
I like it.
This
I
was
don't
like
know if I bring it over.
I
This
didn't
was
get
like
super
3DS.
far.
Keep in mind, this is like 3DS heyday. Actually, it's the end of their heyday, right before the Switch launched. So 2016 was very 3DS heavy
It just
for the
it
Switch.
felt so much like the
I'm sorry
first
for the
one.
ten-
It lost its kind of like less like I don't
Okay.
know.
I guess I got to bring over Dark Souls 3,
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Do we have to though? Do we really have to?
Yes, Deus Ex,
Deus Ex:
Do-
Mankind Divided.
Dishonored 2.
Do sex.
Do
You
you
gotta-
Deus Ex.
sometimes you gotta do
Absolutely.
sex. Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta do sex. Yeah,
Dishonored 2.
Two
We'll bring Doom
yeah.
over.
sure.
Sometimes you got to drop a deuce on the
I'm-
X. You know?
I'm like the only person in the world who loves Far Cry
I
Primal.
beat that game.
Oh,
love
I
that
liked
game.
it.
Yeah,
I
Game's
really-
good.
You know what's funny is actually looking back, I had reinstalled it late last year at some point and played it some more, and I was like, I still love this game. Like, I know it's more Far Cry. I get it. I understand the criticisms. I had a blast with that game.
It's
I like when the big
Actually, of
controversy was
all
like,
the
"This is the
Far
same map as
Cries-
Far Cry 3," and I'm like, I don't
It's
care.
so
There's
different.
So
maps.
fun.
but it was
No.
it played so differently, so it actually felt way different.
and all the
Yeah, I
pets,
agree.
all the pets were really fun. I liked that game.
Yeah.
Final
I
Fantasy
enjoyed it.
15 for me.
Sure,
Fire
yeah.
Emblem.
Fire
Fire
Emblem
Emblem for
Fates.
sure. That's a good one. Yeah.
Firewatch.
Firewatch.
Yeah,
I
I
like
love
Firewatch a lot.
Firewatch.
Okay. Forza
Forza-
Horizon 3.
Forza
Yeah.
Horizon 3 is the first one I really played so
I
many
always
hours of.
Did you?
I
I,
put
didn't really
tons
get
of
into
hours
this
in
one
those
as
games.
much. Just a little
It's
bit.
so good. It's Australia. It's like
Australia, mate.
I remember I played the DLC for that. Was that Hot Wheels DLC for that one? I played that more than the
Yes.
actual game.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
Gears for me.
here's 4. Yep. Kyle,
I
you've
know
talked
you guys
about
are-
Grim Dawn.
Grim Dawn's awesome, but I wouldn't even bring it over.
Okay, I'm gonna bring over
Hitman.
Hitman.
Yeah, Hitman's the best. Yeah.
Hugh is awesome.
Okay.
I love that game, and I know Kyle streamed Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah, I like that game. I don't know how much I want to fight for it if no one else has played it.
I haven't.
I am gonna fight.
I
I'll
only
be playing
played
the
it
hell
for-
out of the sequel, though. That's for
It never
sure.
really hooked me for whatever reason, but I was probably just in the bad.
I wouldn't have
That
played it
play.
alone, Tim. I played it like on stream with my buddy, and I
Oh,
only
got it.
liked it because it was co-op. So
Got
like, yeah, I was kind of there with you. It's not something that would really hook me by myself.
I'll bring over I Am Setsuna. I don't think this is
Yeah,
a
dude.
top 10 game, but it is a really cool little RPG for sure. Inside.
Yes. Yeah, Inside is
Inside's great.
insane.
You guys ever play the remake of King's Quest?
No.
I did, but I didn't get all the way through it. It just
It's
I don't know.
surprisingly charming.
my-
It's not amazing, but it's a charming take on King's
Yeah.
on an adventure game.
It's the one that's like Telltales or whatever.
It is a Telltale style, yeah. I'm gonna bring
I
over Lego's
remember-
Marvel Adventures because that was one of my favorite Lego games.
That was fun.
I like that
I
one.
had
Yeah.
I had fun so much. I actually had more fun with Force Awakens, believe it or not. That's kind of
Did you?
crazy.
Okay, I'll bring that
I
over too.
played the Kirby Planet Robobot.
Yeah,
Was you don't have to move it over.
Okay.
That was a 3DS game, right?
either that or Wii U. I'm not sure.
I think I played that on 3DS. That was fun. Layers
Okay.
of
I don't
Fear,
think-
I
I
really
don't-
liked. I could not stop playing that game.
Bloober, Team Bloober.
Yeah, that's a really good game.
The bloops.
You don't have to move it over. I don't. We're just gonna move over
Mafia
everything.
3. I want Mafia 3.
Mafia.
Yes, big
Oh, they
time.
do so good.
I never played the 3DS Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, or is that the Wii U one? That might be the Wii U one.
I think that's Wii U.
That's one that could use a Switch port, right? I mean, that's a
I'm
kind of a
kinda
lost game.
I wish they would go back to how they used to do the Mario and Luigi like RPGs, not the paper crap.
I'm bringing
You-
No Man's
Well,
Sky over.
The one on Super
Yeah, that's
Nintendo,
fair.
like to this day, I'm
That's
still
how I
like,
want it.
yeah, like why haven't they? It's just I don't know.
I don't
You
like.
mentioned No Man's
aesthetic.
Sky being a disappointment, I guess, of the episode when you did this. But for me, that would be Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Like
That's
Oh,
fair.
God.
I was pretty disappointed in that game.
That
I loved the
was-
first one.
Annoying game.
Yeah.
I bought it. I pre-ordered it and then played it for like 30 minutes. I was like, nope. This is
I
stupid.
got a little
I
further
don't
than
know
that.
if going open world was good for that game.
Yeah.
No.
It was just
Well,
an
it just
Excel.
didn't have anything like interesting about it.
Right.
Now,
Well, I think the sculpted levels like really lend itself to like really free forming, like free running, and like when it's open, it's just too chaotic and random.
Yeah,
and,
Mike,
yeah,
I'll just go over here.
I think the
over
level
here, but
design
I'm
was
not
just
really
poor
doing
in
any
that game.
parkour. Yeah.
now, Kyle, did you play the 3DS Monster Hunter Generations?
Yeah,
game?
yeah, I played it a lot. I mean, it's not one of my favorites of all time, but it's a very solid entry for sure.
Yeah. All right. But I think it's okay to like call out a game. Hey, it's pretty fun, but not on our list. That's totally
Yeah.
fine to do that too.
Yeah.
I never got into Odin Sphere, but this game looks awesome.
Odin Sphere is
Odin-
awesome. This
yeah.
is a remake, or like a
Oh, is it?
remaster or
Yeah,
re-release
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something. But it's awesome, and I love this studio. I forget, it was Team Vanilla.
Vanillaware, yeah, because
Thank
they did
you, yeah.
Dragons. They did Dragon's Crown also.
Dragon's Crown is so
Um,
good. Oh,
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
I like
originally a
Dragon's
PS2
Crown.
game.
what was the Ninja Samurai one? Gosh, it was
Oh.
I think it was the very first game that like got them big. Anyways, that team is really
Y'all
good.
accuse me of
Yeah.
making up Quadrilateral Cowboy, and I feel like y'all just made up 3 games.
They did.
No,
These
are
no,
these
no,
are all
no.
hits.
Did
No one knows what
anyone
you're
else
talking
play
Nobody
Owl
talks
Boy?
Yeah, Owlboy's great.
You like
Okay.
Owlboy, yeah? I remember.
I
you liked
love
that.
Owl Boy,
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll make
Um,
a top 10.
No, me neither. Me neither.
So,
this is where we
I
give
think that's-
flowers.
That's the Paper Mario that was on the Wii U. I don't know what
Oh.
that Mario and Luigi.
This
paper
one was
game-
a 3DS. One of them was 3DS.
Yeah,
One was Wii U.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this must be
Yeah,
3DS.
I don't think Paper Jam is a Mario paper game either. I think
Yeah,
it's,
I don't know what that is.
Paper
It
Mario
was,
maybe
Color
it's-
Splash on the Wii U.
Maybe it's literally a game you play with paper and pencil and stuff.
no, so there's the Mario and Luigi Superstar, which was that first one on GBA. So it's like that.
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
It's that
I know what
series.
you're talking about.
Oh.
Which
But
was
it's an
kind of like a
RPG
spiritual
though, right?
successor to Mario RPG. It just didn't quite have the same hooks.
Yeah, like that one and
Yeah.
Paper Mario were like that exactly as you're saying, Tim. It's just not exactly. It's not the same, but
But not that they didn't. They have had good games.
They
of
don't have
course.
Yes.
Squaresoft involved. That's why.
Dan,
It's
how
not
about
the
Planet
same.
Coaster? Want to bring over Planet Coaster? Dan, you're a fan of that, right?
Planet Coaster as actually, yeah, I need to actually jump in that because I was in the middle of making like a super crazy park, but yeah, that's really fun. The controls on the
think it's pretty
console
fun.
little wonky. Obviously, that's more tailored for PC playing. But it's there's like an insane amount of customization. It's like
I think
it's
that's a good one. I
bonkers.
also think Overcooked was just multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
blast.
Overcooked's very
I
fun.
wish I had people I could talk into playing that game with me because
It's so
I
stressful.
know, that was a hard sell.
It's
It's
so
very
stressful.
I,
Pokemon Sun and Moon didn't do it for me as much, but maybe you guys loved
Yeah.
it. I don't know.
I loved it. It's not top 10, like shared top 10.
It has my favorite Pikachu evolution. I love that version of Pikachu, the Raichu rather specifically.
Yeah, I like Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. I'm a Pokemon cuck, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna move Quadrilateral Cowboy over. Jeffrey, yeah.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
We'll bring over
Quantum
It's
a
happening.
Quantum
It's happening.
Break.
Ratchet
Break.
and Clank.
Ratchet
Ratchet and
and Clank.
Clank's real good. Solid game.
Hey, listen, Recore is a surprisingly fun, if not
No,
very
it's not.
simple game.
I
thought
could
it
like
was
get
terrible.
into it.
Keep
I
scrolling
tried.
down.
terrible.
I really tried.
More like
I hated
Re-Snore.
that game.
Am I
It
right?
is. They should have called
I
it
know that's the type of
mid-core.
thing
It is
that's
the
not
most
for me, though.
aggressively mid game I've
It
ever
is a
played
very
in my
mid game. You know what? That's actually fair to say. It actually very much strikes me as a licensed game. If you would have been like, hey, this is a licensed.
So
video
aggressive
game.
about its midness.
It
It's
is.
like-
It had like a lot of hype because it was created
did.
by who was it?
Kenji Inafune.
What games does he do though?
Mega Man.
That's
Oh,
what I thought.
okay.
I thought it was like a big time.
People
Like,
thought it was going to be the next like Mega Man Legends, but nothing's ever going to be that soon.
Any of you
Yeah.
big Salt and Sanctuary fans?
I
I
liked
am
it.
not.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if I'd fight for it, but like I thought it's a good like
Okay.
side-scrolling Souls like.
It's still one that I never really dug into. Barely played it when I tried it
It's
out.
hard. It's a hard one.
Severed is a really fun game. I played that one.
I've heard good things about that. but
Anybody
not
else
played
play
it.
Severed?
No, I haven't.
No.
Alright. I
I
think
heard. I think it might have been just from you that it was great.
Jeff, you would like it. I think it's on the
I bet I
Switch, too.
would.
You would
Yeah.
like that game. Not the rest of you wouldn't. I just know for sure. Like this seems like a Jeffrey game.
Mhm.
Let's see. I never played Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, which is apparently it is a full game. It's just a sequel
Mhm.
to 4, and it was on the
okay.
3DS.
It's
Oh,
a great.
really?
Yeah, it's really good, man.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I had to look it up. I was like, is this like a remake or like
Yeah.
just a new version, like an add-on version? But
Like
no,
a
it's apparently
director's
it's
cut or
full-on-
something?
Apparently, it's a full-on sequel to 4.
I
From what-
still need to get to
Well, I'll be.
5, so I'm
It's
not
good.
going back to 4.
Good stuff, man.
Star
Yeah,
Fox
5 I'm
Zero,
still trying to beat too. 5 came out
people
at a time
hate-
I didn't want to play RPGs for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
People hated Star Fox Zero, right?
Yeah, they were not fans of Zero.
I never got
We
into
will
Star
probably
Fox.
never see another Star Fox game.
Ugh,
gonna
I know
be
that
zero.
breaks my heart to say that out loud.
You know, it's too bad because they made that. I thought the Ubisoft Starlink game was actually pretty fun, and
Starlink was fun.
the Star
Yeah.
Fox inclusion in the Switch version was actually like, hey, this isn't a bad Star Fox game. It was 7 out of 10 type of game, but it was fun.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree. Everything you said. Yeah.
Whatever.
I just
kinda wish
really
that
think they should make like kind of combine what they did with Starlink, but then give you that Star Fox adventure where you can get out of your pilot wing.
I think that's
and
I
you
think
can
that's what
actually
like
explore the
caused all
world.
this in the first
Yeah.
place. Like, just keep
Yeah.
it a flying game. I think that like that confused everybody.
It's
in the
not to
first
say that you're
days.
wrong or
And
anything.
I
though,
like
but-
I like adventures. I think
Yeah.
that's the game that like killed that series. In my
Yeah.
opinion.
that was going to
Yeah,
be
the one
a
on
different
GameCube,
game, right?
right?
Dinosaur Planet. It was going to be before
Yeah.
Star Fox Adventures, and then they ended up making it part of that.
Because that was the main.
I guess
Yeah.
like kind of like how Daniel always says he wants a Mario RPG 2. I'm that guy that's like, where's my
Yeah.
Star Fox Adventures 2?
Dude,
Like,
you
I'm
I
gotta
think
just a
do
there
big
is a way
fanboy
to
for that
do it
game.
well. I think there
I
is
think
a way
so,
to
too.
do it well.
I
but,
do too.
like,
I totally agree. And I
would
again I
play
like
that.
that game. So
I'd play that. I'm going to put Stardew Valley over. Don't know if anyone
Oh,
else loves it
absolutely.
like I do, but
So many,
Can you
Yeah.
bring
so many
over
people I
Street
know
Fighter 5?
put
Street Fighter
like
5.
30 hours into that game. It's
I mean,
crazy.
my wife
Well,
and I have
not
like,
30
replayed
hours
that
an
My
game.
wife.
My wife has replayed that game, and we both have.
Yeah,
like,
Stardew
I
is
like
it's still
6
like
times.
Dan. Do you agree that Stardew still kind of sets the bar for those types of
Stardew
games?
Valley is absolutely like the best farm sim game, like of
Yeah.
that style. Unless
with
you're
the
pretty
with
sure
the
it's
with the
I agree
action
with that.
RPG mixture in it? Like
yeah, like the
Yeah.
combat's not like amazing or anything, but like it is fun. It's really
enough.
It is fun.
yeah, it's enough
exactly.
for a game
exactly.
that has so many other mechanics already. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey Derek, remember when we played Stories, Path of Destinies? That game was all right.
I liked that game too.
I like that game.
Yeah,
I like
really
that
like
game. I
a
like that
lot.
game a lot.
Me
Yeah,
too.
you guys like
Yes.
that? Yeah.
Huge
I
fan
remember
of that
Derek
game.
and I being
Pretty fun
Yeah,
little
bring
like
it over. It's not going to make top 10, but
That was
bring
like
it
a
over. I felt really
isometric
strongly about that
action
game.
adventure, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah, but it's like
is it-
45-minute to an hour-and-a-half runs, and it's a different story every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
creative?
I
Is
think
it-
I got
isn't it
like
like,
halfway through it.
The narration is kind of like, isn't it like Bastion or whatever, where he's like saying
That
the things
sounds-
you're
that sounds
doing?
right.
It's Bastion-like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it changes based on what you're doing and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's kind of funny actually.
I liked Mario Maker for 3DS. It just didn't compare to the console version,
Right.
That I
Yeah.
I
played.
agree with that.
So it was a cool idea.
Yeah. So Super Mario Run was their first mobile game, wasn't it?
Dude, that game's a blast.
It's
I
fun.
I know mobile gets a bad rap for a good
Like
reason.
Super Mario dumb.
Oh jeez.
Oh, got
Uh-oh.
him.
Super Mario gives me the runs.
Super Hot is an awesome
There you
game.
go.
Yes,
Super Hot,
move
so
it
good. And
F
the
over.
VR version of that game came out that year, and to this day, best VR game ever.
Yeah,
I've
it's-
heard that. I've heard that
it-
before.
It's
I
the
haven't-
greatest VR experience
because it was
ever,
already
period.
built. It was already built for VR with its first person's perspective, but I imagine with the concept of the game itself, it lending itself to being just an incredible VR experience.
It was just
where
such a
you're,
cool
like,
concept.
moving
Like
and people come towards you and bullets are coming at you and you're
Yeah,
It's
if you
so
stop moving,
good.
everything else stops moving. What a cool,
Yeah.
simple
Yeah.
concept. It worked really well.
Yeah.
That Dragon Cancer, if you want to be depressed, go check that one out.
Yeah, it's not.
you wanna be
It's
depressed.
not. It's not a good game at all. Like almost on any level. But the emotions are
Yes.
just
Yeah,
so
I
high.
guess.
It's
You
just
know
to
what?
tug at your heartstrings, right?
This game,
That's literally the only purpose of the game.
what really hit me hard with this game was the interviews with the dad who made it
Yes,
because of his
yes.
son who
I
died.
much preferred the making of.
The
to
making
game
of stuff
than
was
the game.
fascinating, but
Yeah.
like the mini games and the actual experience was like it was not great.
No. No.
Dude, I gotta tell you, the Banner Saga series is still one that I'm ashamed I haven't gotten into because
Yeah.
those games look awesome.
I
But
started the first one and like I love the way that game looks, but like the combat is like freaking brutal, dude. Like
I got destroyed
Like,
my
tough?
first battle, and I was like, I don't know if I want to
Yeah.
do this right now.
Oh.
yeah, it's tough. It is
Yeah.
tough.
But yeah, the second one came out in 2016. But I'll move the Division over there. A lot of love
Yes,
for Division.
I
I
played.
love the Division. Yeah.
I think
love
I
those
played
games.
like I don't know, something like 80 or 70. I put so many hours in this game. It's kind of stupid actually.
Flame in the Flood, I do recommend if you
Yes.
like kind of
game is
indie
awesome.
style survival games. I think it's not a top 10 game for our crew, but I do recommend Flame in the Flood a lot. Last Guardian.
And I normally don't like survival games, but that game has something to it that's more
It does.
interesting to me.
I agree. What were you gonna say, Derek?
I was just gonna. Well, I know you were gonna pull the Last Guardian.
Last
over.
Guardian.
Go
Yeah, I'll
ahead.
bring it
Go.
over. Yeah.
I wanted my Swimming in Sevens developer to get recognized. The Technomancer, bring him over. It's
That
not
game
gonna
is
win
so
anything.
Awful.
Talk
It's
about
such a bad
disappointing.
game. Ugh.
Who is that
It's-
developer?
With their next game, I'm there with you, man. Greedfall or whatever. This game is
Oh, is
the
that the
worst.
spider? Team
Yeah,
Spider or
yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
Yep.
Yep, with the
My
Y.
boys,
so-
it's my
Nah,
boys.
This
Gotta
game
gotta
sucks so
represent.
hard.
Did you
Gotta
say it with the Y?
represent.
So it's like
I love
Spider?
your enthusiasm about the studio. This game sucks.
I'm surprised Derek hasn't applied to that studio. You should apply there.
I already work for them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, what do you
Clearly,
think this is all
PR
about?
guy.
Yeah.
They're like, you're our PR guy. Could you just be a little less racist and sexist, though? We
All
love
three-
your enthusiasm, but you're kind of pushing people away.
all
Yeah.
3 episodes of the spin-off series Walking Dead Michonne came out that
Yeah, it
year.
was all right.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
get to
I
it.
didn't play that.
I didn't love it as much as Batman, but it was all right.
The Witness.
Nope.
No, go to
Never
hell.
played it.
No.
Never played. No, go to-
I li- I have-
my no comes from a place of being stupid. Like,
I did a let's play on it and just go watch it because I'm so bad at the game. Like I don't even remember what I said for most of it, but I did go back and watch it, and I said at one point, this game is designed only for Stephen Hawking to play and nobody else.
Dude, we gotta get a link to your let's play of that. Gotta see that. Hey, I did play Thumper, and I thought that was a pretty fun rhythm
yeah,
game.
that
and
Thumper's super cool. Yeah.
Thumper's a cool game. You like this glowing beetle on this track, and it's going super fast.
Yeah, it's a rhythm game. It's super fun. Yeah.
I like it. If you like stuff like Beat Saber and whatever else, like it's kind of in
Yeah.
that vein. Titanfall 2, of course, we'll bring that one.
Absolutely.
up.
Great.
I want
Absolutely.
Tokyo Mirage. That was in my top 10. that year.
Tokyo Massage.
You
Session.
did like that one, didn't you?
I will say, you guys underrated Titanfall 2 in your list. I'm just gonna say that. All right, I'm just gonna say that.
You might be right. You might be right about that.
I don't
Same.
know. Tim, did you even play it? I don't know if you had
I've-
played it.
By then, I almost certainly hadn't. I have now. Since then, I played
Hmm.
the
Sure.
campaign.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it might have been just a thing of we didn't really play it as much or at all. At that
Well,
time.
I liked it, but I didn't glow over it like how people glow over the campaign now, where they're like,
Mm.
"It's the greatest campaign." I never said
I
that.
think
It
it's like
is.
one of the
It's one of
greatest
the best ones.
multiplayer games of all time.
Yeah,
So
the
I
the fact
love
that
the
you could say,
multiplayer.
like,
Yeah.
it's great on both sides of it. It's a great game for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've
agree.
heard that. I never got into the multiplayer, but the campaign, I could
Oh,
only speak to that. That was
multiplayer.
great.
Yeah,
Titanfall
for 4 hours
multiplayer,
first-person shooter
just in
campaign,
general.
it's incredible. Like,
You know, speaking of multiplayer, people love them some Trackmania Turbo, but I never got into those games.
Oh, I couldn't get into it. I didn't like it.
But people create some
I don't like
wacky
making
stuff.
games.
They're
I did
great.
try it though.
They're great YouTube fodder to go watch some of the courses people have made for Trackmania. Of course, we'll bring over Uncharted 4. Don't know if you guys are familiar with that one.
never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
A couple of little games, Unravel, Valley, and Virginia. I can tell you
Yeah,
that
what do-
Valley is actually a surprisingly fun little game. It's a short game, but it's not worthy of making the list. But it is worth checking out. It's usually really cheap.
Virginia's like an hour or two as well.
Okay, yeah, Valley is like a first person. Towards the end, it gets a little actiony, but it's mostly an adventure game with a little bit of action.
Same with Virginia's like a first-person adventure type psychological thriller where you don't know what's real or whatever. I can't even remember the story. It's not that great. It's like decent, like 6 out of 10 maybe.
And Unravel looks cool, right? Great design for that.
I
game.
like the second one is way better because there's 2 of them, and you can either
Yeah.
play multiplayer by yourself and you're moving them together and whatever.
Okay.
So I definitely prefer the second one. That one, the first one I never beat because there was like I hit a wall at some point, but I did like what I played.
Yeah.
But the second one's way better, way freaking better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think of these final 3, only one's possibly going to make our top 10. I think it's XCOM 2 is like could make the list. I don't know if everyone loves it though, but I'm going to move it over.
I love that game. Yeah, it's on my
I like
top
it a
10.
lot. I think it's great, and I know this probably won't make our top 10 because there's a lot of hate for it. But
I reacted really grossly to this earlier. Watch Dogs 2 is the only Watch Dogs I like. So
Watch Dogs 2 is a blast. It is not
I
a
like that
great.
game.
It is
Yeah.
not like
Oh.
a top tier game. It is a blast to play. And Derek's
I
an
think
idiot.
all
It's a
the other
blast.
games suck in
No.
that franchise, but this game was a lot of fun. For
The
me.
game's fun. It's not.
I never
amazing.
shot a single bullet.
And
in
I'm
this
It's
the
game.
not
one
number
that-
5 good.
And
though.
that I
No,
absolutely
but
enjoyed
like,
the
I'm just
first
saying
and
I
third
reacted
one.
really harshly earlier, and I'm trying to like
Yeah,
balance
yeah.
the scales a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I literally go, ugh.
That's because
So,
you.
yeah,
That's
I'm
because you and
trying
I talked about like when we were podcasting and stuff. Like we talked about Watch Dogs so much that we were like, "Who cares about 2? Who cares about 2?"
Wow, we moved
To where
over
it's like
more
in-
than we
it's
left.
probably
I played
in
it
your
like a
subconscious
month after it
still.
came out, yeah. I didn't play
So
that.
I wanted to call this out. We moved over more than we left behind.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's part
hold
of
on.
this
Just
process.
real quick though, with World, you don't have to move over World of Final Fantasy, but that game was definitely overshadowed by like the hype of 15. But I remember genuinely enjoying it. And it has like, so think of like all the monsters and things in Final Fantasy, but like as like a Pokemon format. Like it kind of has a little bit of a Pokemon like thing going on there.
I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I totally
played it.
aesthetically,
Yeah.
I could totally see it not being,
It's very like kid-like. It's like
yes.
It reminds me enough of Theatric
It's
Rhythm,
got
like
chibi
I mean
characters.
the art at least, where
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
that part
art,
didn't
yes.
bother me. It just I didn't hear very many people talking positively
Yeah.
about it. So, like,
I remember we don't have to move it over because it's definitely not for the right audience. But I remember Kyle and I playing Abzu when it came out, and we were like
Abzu's
messaging each other
awesome.
as we were
Yeah.
playing it. And yeah, that game is like really special. It's by the Journey people, so
Yeah.
obviously it's
Yeah.
not going to.
I know everybody here hates that game because of
Yeah.
people, but like,
I don't.
that game is very moving and very fun. You know?
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to be totally honest. I never finished a playthrough of Journey because I already knew what the big thing was, like the big element that made it special. So like, I felt like it wasn't gonna be special for me, and I wasn't having fun with the little I did play of it. So I never played Abzu either. So those are just blind spots for me. I don't have hate or.
Well, at least
love
you don't know
for it.
anything about Abzu other than it's underwater. You know,
That's all I know. Yeah, there's like a diver
Spoilers,
swimming
Jeff.
down, touching something.
Yeah, but that's the way to play it. Like I went into Journey not knowing anything about it, and even though it was hyped up and everything, I didn't know anything about how it actually played. Abzu was the same thing. I just knew the concept, and then like the story is definitely visual. They're not really spelling anything out to you.
Well, more fun to play since it's underwater. You have a full range of vision, so.
And some of the ecosystem
maybe
stuff
Journey
is
was.
just like really cool. And of course, the score is amazing, much like Journey is. Austin Wintory did the score for this one too.
All right, guys, for this next round, we're going to go alphabetically instead of just shouting them out. And we're going to take turns saying, so essentially we're each going to get 4 that we are going to want to fight for.
Okay.
So look through this list,
I gotta be
and
careful.
we're gonna go alphabetically. So we'll start with Dan. So I'll give you a second to think about it. But what we'll do is we'll just call out one that you want to move over to the final 20 because you want to fight for this one to make the top 10. And of course, a lot of this has some strategy to it as well because you're like, what is everyone else going to say that I don't want to waste a pick on?
Hey, can I ask you a question? I saw Ori and the Blind Forest was 2016, but was that for the definitive edition?
Definitive edition. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
it came out before that.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure I had it on here if it was 2016.
Yeah. Did I miss any other games that you guys are aware of?
I don't think so.
I streamed 1979 Revolution. I can't remember. There's a subtitle to it, but it's about like the Iran. Is it Iran?
What?
It's about a civil war era in Iran, I think, and it's a telltale like 2-hour experience, and you have to like decide. There are certain moments where you have to decide between like killing your brother or killing like your best friend or.
Oh shit!
Like, and these are like true stories that they put in the game, and
I've never heard of this.
It's overwhelming. It's good though. It's like it's good storytelling.
1979,
like, low tier indie developer. Like it's clearly budgeted. You know.
1979. You said it's called.
Right, 1979 Revolution. I think is it Black Friday? I think that's the subtitle.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so we've had a couple seconds to think about it. Dan, what do you think?
Friday, yeah.
What do you want to move over to our final 20?
Yeah, you can move over Final Fantasy 15. I know I'm snarky about it, but you know.
All right.
Wow.
Derek?
Dark Souls 3.
It's a good call because I don't think any of us are pick that one.
What do you want to fight for?
Yeah, this art does look familiar.
I'm gonna go because it was so low on your initial list. I'm gonna go Forza Horizon 3.
Okay. Kyle.
I'm gonna go Quantum Break.
Awesome.
I'm about to break.
I'm gonna move over Hitman, which was
everything
kind
you quantum to me.
So Hitman is like
hoping somebody else is gonna choose that one. Yeah.
So Hitman is like the first part of the current World of Assassination
yes.
trilogy that is now available as like one full package of games. Okay, so back to Dan.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys. Gears 4.
All right.
That is a curveball coming from you.
I really liked those. I thought they were good.
Dishonored 2. I have to make up for the errors of our ways from 2016.
Redemption.
Jeff.
Doom.
It's a good pick.
It's a great pick. Kyle.
XCOM 2.
Kyle, you're supposed to bring over Deus Ex.
No, dude, I'm waiting for you to do that. I need to
Damn it.
earn that.
I'm like
I wanna
literally
fight for
not
it. You
picking
wanna
it
fight
because I'm
for
like,
you want to fight for Dark Souls.
You guys are
everybody
playing
else
chicken.
is gonna bring it over.
You guys are playing chicken, and it's not gonna happen.
I know.
It's gonna get left
I'm
off.
afraid about that with Uncharted 4 too. To be honest.
All right, I'm bringing
I guess it
over
gets
the
to get
Last
brought over.
Guardian.
The Last
That's fine.
Guardian. Oh my god. Oh,
This is why I'm just gonna be nice.
we're all
I
gonna
love you,
pick
Tim.
like.
Dan.
God damn it. All right, Uncharted 4. There we go.
Thanks.
Uncharted
Dan.
4.
I really appreciate you falling on that sword for us.
Here we go.
This is our third.
He
pick
went
each, by
from
the
being
way.
an X-Bot back to a pony.
Derek?
That's right. That's right.
I gotta go with. I'll do the work. I'll bring over Deus Ex.
I'll do the
I
work.
really appreciate that because I
Do
do
the
I have
work.
to.
I can't let that game not be in our
Jeff?
It
top 10.
has to come over.
I would consider this a sacrifice play as well. I'm gonna go Mafia 3.
Oh, thank you. That frees me up. You're the best, Jeff.
Kyle.
Crap.
The drama.
I know. I love it.
So much drama.
No, what do I want? I thought I had like all these games, and I guess I didn't. I'm gonna bring over Super Hot.
Super
Wow.
hot.
There you go. There you go. Hot.
That's what they say every time you finish. An
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Far Cry Primal over.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Dan.
Dude,
This is our last set of games to
Yeah,
fight
this
for.
is your last pick.
I so badly want to bring over Quadro whatever just to spite Derek. I want to do it so bad. Let's see. What do we have here actually? What do we have left?
Do you want Ratchet and Clank? Did you like Ratchet and Clank?
I never actually played that one. I did
Oh,
not.
I thought you did.
Did you play Rift Apart though?
No.
Oh dang.
I played whatever that like remake of the original one was. That's the only Ratchet and Clank I've ever
This
played.
one?
That's this
Oh,
one.
is that this one?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
this one. Yeah.
This is the 2016
Oh,
remake.
okay. I'm picking Titanfall 2 though. I'm picking Titanfall.
Oh, how did
oh,
that
yeah.
get over
My pick.
already?
Holy shit, I forgot about Titanfall 2.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
All right, Derek.
I'm gonna bring over Tokyo.
The entire
Tokyo.
city?
It's
Yeah,
country-
I'm bringing
country
it.
of Tokyo. We're
City.
gonna celebrate it.
Tokyo Mirage.
Every game that has Tokyo in it. Bring it over.
Can we just all agree though that having the little hashtag FE at the end is super annoying? Like that's just annoying.
Very.
No, that lets you know
So
Fire
indulgent.
Emblem's in it.
No, that's annoying. All right,
Hashtag Fire Emblem.
Jeff.
The only one that really makes sense to me is Inside. I'm gonna go with Inside.
Okay. Kyle.
I just want to say I really do like Fire Emblem Fates, but it comes between that and I Am Setsuna, and I Am Setsuna really moved me. Like,
Oh,
okay.
especially the music. So
Yeah,
but
that
whatever.
piano was just. Whew.
Yeah.
Boy, good.
The music-
Actually,
music that they had
only
was
played
beautiful.
like 30 minutes of that. I haven't actually gotten into that one.
I
It's
finished that
very
one.
basic. It's
Yeah.
really carried by its somber story and beautiful
Yep.
score.
Yep.
All right, I'm going based off of my list here. I have to bring. Well. Oh no, that one's already over. Okay, I'll bring over Watch Dogs 2.
I wonder if that studio is even.
I probably should have went with Oxenfree instead.
All right,
of
so here's
Inside,
what we'll
but-
do.
oh, well.
Just to add a little bit of just so
Wow,
this
we
list is
cut
something we're all
Ratchet
happy about.
and Fire Emblem.
Just so we're all. I want to, based on the reactions I heard, as well as me now looking at what's left behind. I might want to swap one or two out. Does anyone want to swap a game out that they brought over, not that someone else brought over, but that you brought over?
No.
And so I'm going to go first. I'm actually going to bring Last Guardian out because I think I'm the only one who loved it. Others might think it was fine, but am I right in saying
I've
no one else
Only
loved it?
heard. I didn't play it, but
I
I've only heard
didn't
it was
like it.
okay.
Yeah, I never
You
played
didn't.
it.
Jeff didn't play it. Dan didn't play it. Kyle, did you ever play it?
Which one?
Last Guardian.
It's not my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my
I'm
thing.
actually gonna bring Ratchet and Clank over because I loved that game. So
There you
that's
go.
cool.
There you go.
What I'm swapping with. Anybody else want to swap one?
No. I was gonna
I was gonna
say.
say I
my-
really like Inside, so I can at least fight for that one.
Yeah,
but
I was
don't
gonna
play
say
the other one.
Oxenfree wouldn't make sense because my last pick was Inside, and I don't think that's gonna make it either. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't really
All
matter
right,
at this
Inside
point.
All right, I have to correct an error. Uncharted, go back. Quadrilateral Cowboy. Let's go.
Oh my
Thanks,
God.
buddy.
I swear to God, it's a real game. It is.
It's a good thing
you
said that. You said this after we picked, because if you would have said, "Hey, make your picks and then we can change it later," the strategy would have been to, like, for me to pull Uncharted 4 over and then flip it back over at the end. So
Sure.
it's a good thing.
I will say, even though I moved it back off of our list, because I don't think it's a good one for our shared list, The Last Guardian gets a lot of hate, and it is not an amazing video game, but it's a great experience with a good story. It
I
really
think it's
is.
kind of I think it's similar to like
2 hours.
15, right? Where there was literally all of that development hell going on, all that hype, all that excitement.
You're right.
And then it just like didn't deliver on the crazy things that we were all imagining in.
Well,
our
everyone
head,
wanted
you
the
know?
next Shadows of Colossus, and it was very different from that.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
It was
'cause
more like their original game, Eco, I think it's called.
Yes,
It's more like
it
that.
was, but I just thought, and especially the way it ends, I just thought they did a great job with it, and I
Yeah.
thought they told a great story. And to me, the gameplay was like somewhere around above average overall.
Well, much like Eco, it's minimal gameplay and maximum
Yeah.
story. It sounded like for both of those games. Whereas like Shadow of the Colossus was like almost no story in all.
That was
games.
great gameplay. Yeah. Okay. Last call. Anything else to swap? We good?
Well, I just wanted to elaborate on because some listeners, especially, will probably be like, Quadrilateral Cowboy's not real. So it is a heist game, but like most of the tools that you use, you control them on your laptop in like a DOS command prompt. So you'll like pull it up and you'll have like a remote camera, and to have it turn on or to have it like sometimes you need it to take a picture or whatever, you have to type in certain commands. It's kind of like it's a very nerdy ass game. Let's just put it that way. Like,
this looks very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the art design, all that stuff is not great. Like it's deliberately not.
It's very odd. It's
ugly.
very odd.
Yeah, it's deliberately ugly. But yeah, I don't know. It just had me feeling like a smart person when I played it.
All right, so for the sake of some time, we got our final 20 here. For the sake of some time, I want to call out a couple that I think are on the list. I just don't know where yet. And you guys give me someone shout out no or something if you think I'm totally off base. I think Uncharted 4 is going to be on our list somewhere.
Yeah,
No.
Sorry. I know it's gunking up time. My bad.
No.
I think Doom's going to land on the list somewhere.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
for me, it
everybody
should
liked
be. Yeah, but
I think
for most
everybody
sane
liked it.
people.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I'm very indifferent about it, but
Are you?
I'm very aware that it's amazing.
But that might not be an obvious one then.
It was fun. It was
I
fun.
think
It was
four
definitely fun.
except 4 of the 5 said yes, so I would bring it over.
Okay. Well, I think we got 3 who said yes, and one's like it's fun, and then you are a little more indifferent. And that totally makes sense.
Yeah, like I enjoyed it. I just like if I'm just like saying it like sort of in the sense of like for my top 10, if I had a top 10, it wouldn't probably be on there.
I didn't
but maybe
even rank it the original year we did this because I hadn't played it. I was like, this is not really my kind of game. I finally played it sometime in 2017, maybe even 2018, and I was like, oh. And I re-ranked them recently. It's like my second favorite game from that year.
It's super smooth gameplay, and
so I love Doom.
Yeah, I love it too.
Amazing in that game.
Oh, music's incredible. Oh my god.
Oh,
so
of course,
good.
yeah.
It's
The
out of the
music
world.
I
but
feel
also,
like
it's like
we would
first-person action perfected in my mind, at least. I thought it was so good. So
at
good.
least for that fast-paced
You wouldn't hear me saying many bad things about this game.
Created.
You know,
I just wish the sequel would have been better.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, that wouldn't be on
I actually
our
don't like
list.
that game at all. I actually have strong feelings about that one.
Well, I feel like all of us, well, not all of us, but most of us, like 4 out of 5 of us would fight for Mafia 3.
Yeah,
I'd fight
I
pretty
think
hard
it should
for
be
Mafia
on
3.
there.
Yeah, I feel like it would be on there for sure.
I'd fight pretty hard, yeah.
It's in my top 10 from that year on re-ranking them. Okay, I think that's fair. I know Kyle loves Hitman along with me. Anybody else big Hitman fans, or is that?
Yeah, the first one's really good. Yeah. Hitman's. It's very, very low on my 10, but it is in there. Yeah.
So like this was released episodically, which they ended up scrapping that after a couple of tries at that. But as a full-on game, it was an amazing experience. The episodic release kind of hurt it a little bit.
I just beat it recently
if
for the first time.
Hitman was Hank from Barry, then this would be my game of the year. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it here for now, but we might. It might not be
Barry.
Like if they would just change the protagonist.
Dude, Hank is
that's
great.
all they have to.
Hank is great.
Dan, you brought this one over. This is in my top 5 from the year.
Submarine sandwiches.
That's Final Fantasy 15. That's on the top 10?
Yeah. Again, I'm looking at this like
separate. Final Fantasy 15 was like my second favorite.
Yeah.
And honestly, you could put it as first.
Now, Kyle and Jeff didn't like it as much. Is this like, it's not an obvious one, but you guys can have it for the moment?
I thought Kyle liked it. I don't know.
I liked it a lot.
Kyle did. My bad. Jeff's the one who didn't like it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a consensus to at least have it tentatively over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, no, for sure.
Okay. Dishonored 2 and Deus Ex.
I feel strongly about
I feel
those top 3.
Very strongly about Deus Ex myself.
So do I. Yeah, so
Do
that's
it.
3
Do
of
it
us. Okay.
Do it up.
I don't feel as strong about Dishonored 2, although I do like it a lot.
I love that.
Compared to Deus Ex, I'm just saying, like compared to like, but I do like it a lot. So if there's others who are like that needs to be on there, I support it.
Derek pointed out that they are kindred spirits. They're both like smart FPSs, as he
They are.
called them.
And then Derek wants Dark Souls 3 a lot. Listen, I'm not going to fight for it to be off the list. Objectively, it's an amazing game. I understand that everyone loves it who plays it and gets into it. Having played Bloodborne and Elden Ring, I understand the draw. I totally do. I just never truly got into this one.
Is 3 considered
Did
one of the
you-
better ones of the Dark Souls franchise, or
Uh,
First
it's 2
one.
that no one likes, right?
2 is the one even I don't even like it.
The
I
best.
never even
yeah, like
beat 2.
Miyazaki didn't do that one or something.
Yeah.
I think people love 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like a 89 on
9s and 10s.
Metacritic, and most
Yeah.
people love it. Yeah.
I get it and 2 mixed up.
Listen, I have no problem with it sneaking on that, at least for now. We'll see if someone
I
tries to replace
expect it to if it's in the top 10, I expect it to be the bottom because I'm the only one that really loves it.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Titanfall 2.
I would fight for that big time.
I
I'd
want
fight for
it
that
on
hard.
there.
Yeah, I'd fight
All
for
right.
that hard.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty
Yeah.
strong support.
Yeah.
Quantum Break.
I would fight for it pretty hard, but if it's just like me and Jeff,
Yeah, I
know,
really
don't-
like it, but I have to make room for other games I didn't play or didn't like that you guys will talk about. So I
Dan,
don't-
what were you gonna say?
if that would end up being my sacrifice.
I was just saying I'm about to break. That's all.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
So
should I go back and play that one, or because I
I'm
played.
actually playing it right now. I just started
Oh,
up this weekend, and I'm at the end of Act 2, where the second episode of the show is about to start. I actually got there
Yeah.
this afternoon, and it is a lot of
Are
fun.
you playing on PC?
Okay. Because I enjoyed that. What the hell was it
'Cause
called?
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
probably doesn't look good on Xbox. I don't think they ever patched it or anything like that.
I will say it definitely looks a little dated, but it's a 7-year-old game, so I'm not gonna.
yeah.
Some of these other games we have on
There's
here.
some of
look
that with
dated.
Deus Ex too, but
Yeah.
even in 4K, like in the actual gameplay engine, the cinematics actually look dated. The gameplay actually looks great.
Yeah.
Like it's
I agree
kind of
with that.
strange.
No, I like it. I think because I loved Control so much,
Yeah,
I play these
Control
out of
was-
order.
yeah.
Like this doesn't, to me, it's not
It
as
is hard to
fun.
go
It's
back.
not a
yeah.
Control.
Control
as-
is some of the best gameplay ever, and Quantum
Thank
Break
you.
feels
That's exactly
restrictive.
it. That's exactly it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah,
that
Quantum
being
Break's
said,
like the stepping
fun.
stones to eventually getting to.
Yeah.
Right.
let's kind
There
of
are moments in the gameplay of Quantum Break when you're shooting like the bullets and you slow them down and like your like time field and you like release that and all the bullets like hit at the same time. Like that stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's the
Um,
abilities are so fun.
Yeah, there's some, but yeah, it's just not going to be a lot of people standing behind it. You know, I don't know if
Yeah.
we can make the 10.
So I
Yeah,
personally
like
have.
I prefer like of the ones remaining, I
4, 5,
prefer
6,
Forza
7.
Horizon 3 left. That's the only one I would fight
Okay.
for.
Yeah, I've got.
Dan, what about Gears 4?
Gears
Do you?
4? I was going to ask Dan.
I want Gears 4.
I
over-
mean, so for me personally, because then when I got the Xbox, I played 1 through 5 back to back. I honestly think 4 and 5 are better than the first 3. So
That's a pretty common opinion, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Okay.
a lot of people think that.
So I think 4 is pretty strong, like a good
I think it's
return.
great. I
Yeah.
loved 4. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's hard. It's hard.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like a good like kind of like a entirely different studio that had no hands in the original, taking it and like going off and
What
like
was it though? I don't even know. Was
Yeah.
it-
Yeah,
was it-
yeah.
Cliffy B did all I think the first 3. So.
he did
Oh,
the first
okay.
trilogy and Ferguson or whatever.
By the
I
way, he
think
hates being
4
called that, but I like to call him that because he seems kind of like a prick.
Listen,
so.
Gears 4, it's like they
He's
wanted to lean
not
more
kind
into.
of a prick. He is a prick.
I've heard.
Gears 4 still held on to a lot of the Gears gameplay that we know and love, but it
yes.
seemed to me like they're trying to emulate some aspects of Naughty Dog in their storytelling.
Yeah.
I just-
4 and 5 were definitely them going in the direction of like, hey, we want you to start caring about our characters.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for better or worse, it didn't click for everyone. Totally understand that, but I did think it was very good. But I'm honestly, a lot of these that are left, I'm like, yeah, I could see those being on there. Like Ratchet and Clank, I think is deserving. It's excellent. I personally have Watch Dogs 2 on there, but I think Kyle said you enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone else really enjoyed it that much. I know Derek didn't love
I
it.
put a few
I
hours
wouldn't-
into this one. I don't remember liking it all that much, but maybe it was a mood thing. Like I'm just not in the mood for this kind of game or
The
something.
characters are terrible.
Yeah,
They're
I didn't
absolutely
like I
terrible.
played like 2 hours of it, and I was like, these hipster characters are annoying the
They're
shit out of me.
So
That's-
annoying.
Totally fair.
So-
Same with XCOM 2. I put a lot of hours into it.
Yeah.
Kyle loves it.
I would fight
Anybody
hard
else?
for that, but if it's just the two of us, there's not enough crossover, you know.
It's the best version of the XCOM type of games, including all the other ripoffs.
That
that
series
are out there.
really got me into like like I was like, man, they did, Fire Emblem, but like with big boy graphics, you know.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
bad.
and the
I
whole,
just,
like,
I just
cover-
remember
the
being
cover
blown away by
system.
the first one when I played it, and this one is a way better version of the first game. So
I agree. And like the cover system and Overwatch and all that stuff, just love it.
It's
I
out
love
of this
that.
world.
Yeah. But that being said, for the only two, maybe there's some
Yeah,
room for like
I
a
get it.
Dishonored or Far Cry or Forza or something like that instead.
Excuse me.
Derek, Jeff, Dan, XCOM 2, anybody?
Those aren't my
No.
type of games
Did
at all.
not did not play it.
You won't get my support for that one.
Okay, so that might be kind of sitting down here with Watch Dogs 2. This is the Tim and Kyle bin down here.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Throw it on the
That's
Tim and Kyle.
that's
bin,
the
TNK.
Derek bin right there.
And here's the
Tokyo.
Derek bin. Yeah.
Yeah, throw that into the TNK bin. for
Yeah,
sure.
and my bin has
Sorry.
Inside in it, and yeah.
Yeah.
I like.
You know what's
Inside,
funny?
though. It is
I
a
do
fun
like
game.
Inside, but like
Inside's awesome.
as I was
Inside's
re-ranking the
super good.
games, it kind of slid down my list. I don't have a good reason for it.
No, I
Same.
get it.
Yeah,
Because it's
same.
not really like a game where it's like I'm doing so much in this game. It's
But
it's
it
more
might
like
end up being on my 10, but since everyone has to have some concession choices,
yeah.
like that ends up being on the chopping block because it's just like, I don't know.
yeah,
I
it's not as interactive as these other experiences, but the story and the concept
sure.
and everything is like what really pushes it over.
So what's interesting about Ratchet and Clank is at the time before Rift Apart, that to me was kind of like the definitive non-Mario 3D platformer. It was so
Ooh.
good. It just kind of like crushed it. But since Rift Apart came out, it's a much, much better game. It's hard for me to think of the 2016 Ratchet and Clank as being all that great because it kind of like what you guys said with Quantum Break. If you play Control and then go to Quantum Break, you're going to feel very limited. If you play Rift Apart and go back and play Ratchet and Clank from 2016, you're going to be like, oh, there's not as much stuff to do as
Rift Apart has a lot of extra mechanics in it,
and it's
yeah.
excellent. So
This one didn't. Rift. I played them both. This one did not make my 10. It was fun, but I think somebody left a comment in our group that was like, "This is a weird year because there's like a few 10s at the top, and then it's like nothing but 8s. You know, it's 8,
Yeah.
8, 8, 8, 8.
Yeah.
And so like this
We're
one
in
felt
the
like an
8s.
8 that was like
Yeah.
it's just not going to make my list, man. Like I don't know. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain, but Rift Apart definitely is the best version of that type of game to me.
yeah. Do we bring Forza Horizon 3 over? I wouldn't be a supporter or an
I
antagonist against
didn't
it.
really get into that one. I played all the Forzas, so I played it. I didn't really get into Horizon games until 4 and 5. Those were my two
Okay.
favorite.
I like this game a lot personally, but.
And Jeff, you played it a ton too.
Yeah, I played so many hours of this one. I love it. And the Hot Wheels expansion
All right, so
especially.
we're
Like,
probably gonna have to
if
fight
we
it out
factor in that
between-
expansion, that might be worth something. I don't know.
We have a couple of Xbox games battling it out, I think, for the final spot. Unless Dishonored 2 or Far Cry.
Does anybody care about Dishonored 2 like I do?
I like what I played of the first one, but I never beat it, so it just didn't make sense to go to the second one to me.
I like it a lot, but where do I have it now? Hang on a second. I've got it. 1 second. There it is. I have it at number 8 in my top 10 from that year.
It would be in my top 5, but it
Ocho!
would be my top 3.
The Ocho. Dan, Kyle, for Dishonored 2.
Never.
Those
I didn't play
arcane
either.
games like this really humble me, man. You know,
Okay.
I feel like every time I play them, I'm like,
And that
boy, this
probably
game
stays
really
over
gets
That's
here.
a
like
lot
me
out of
with XCOM games, where I'm like, nope, too dumb. I can't do it.
know we all
Deathloop is
talk
like the
about-
first one I ever played of their games.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Like that's what still kept me away from the new what's Prey, like the remake.
Right.
Like I was just like, I've always wanted to play
Yeah.
that game, but like I'm just like, but all their games make me feel stupid. I don't know if I want to buy that.
We talked about how much fun Far Cry Primal is, but is it top 10 fun for anybody else?
Not for me personally.
No.
It actually
didn't
finished.
make my 10. It was like a rough, like it was like a right at the edge of the 10. Like it was.
Yeah.
Just barely didn't make the list.
Yeah, same here. It actually is at number 11 for me. So
Never
I
played that
really
one.
enjoyed it though. It's a good one.
It is a very fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Same with
it's
I Am
good.
Setsuna. That's on my, kind of in that 15-ish range where I enjoyed it a lot, but was moved by the music. I thought the story was pretty good. but never did go back to it. And so maybe it's just time separated from it. It hasn't stuck with me in the same way.
I'd be the only one fighting for it. I probably wouldn't consider it, especially because
Setsuna?
there's so many games that a couple people have played at least.
Like I liked it because it had that old school vibe. Like that's literally what that studio was created for.
Yeah, they literally are just there to. I will say their later games got worse and worse as they went on.
Oh no.
Yeah, like Lost
but
Sphere.
This is definitely their best game, I would say.
Yeah, I think Lost Sphere was not a very good one.
What was the one after Lost Sphere? That one I liked.
Did they create another one after?
They did like an Oninaki one, right?
Yeah. I bought that one.
I liked that one, but
I like that one more than Lost Sphere. Lost Sphere, like they were like, we're adding mechs. I'm like, this is gonna be super cool, and it wasn't. It was
not.
Oh no!
Damn it!
It indeed was
not
not
cool.
Yeah. Last one that we haven't discussed is Super Hot. Is that fighting for a spot?
I love this game so much, but I feel like it's another one that
I've never played it.
That's another one where it would be like 12 or 13 for me on my personal list.
This would be like number 3 on my regular list because literally it's the greatest VR game of all time. Like I'm just this is one that just really blew my mind. But
it's one of the coolest shooters of all time. Like it's just it's not really a shooter, I guess. Like, I guess it is, but it isn't at the same time. It's
puzzle shooter. I don't even.
I
wouldn't say if I like it, it's not a puzzle.
Half-Life Alex,
right.
yeah.
No, that's how it works, right?
Jeff, would you put it in over Forza if you had to pick?
Super Hot? No.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I think my Forza opinion is coming from the fact that I didn't play 1 or 2. So this was my first Horizon experience at all. So it kind of broke my brain seeing how much freedom I had, and then the Hot Wheels expansion.
Sure.
Like I just had
first
so
time
much
charm
fun.
for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a really good entry in this franchise too, because I like this one more than the London one. Whatever the next.
You sound like you're from London. Is that 4?
Yeah, I think that is 4. Yeah, 4 is, there's nothing wrong with that game. I think that one's great. It's just like I like the setting.
I definitely played like 5 and 3 are the ones I played the most hours into, especially because the expansion in 3 is just unreal. For me. Yeah.
All right, so
I'll fight for that game with you.
We've got 11 games that we need to push one back over to our kind of honorable mention list. We have Uncharted 4, Doom, Mafia 3, Hitman, Final Fantasy 15, Deus Ex, Dark Souls 3, Titanfall 2, Quantum Break, Forza Horizon 3, and Gears of War 4. What needs to be bumped back over?
I was gonna say I don't like Gears as a franchise at all, but I know there's a lot of fans of that game here, and I think only me and Jeff feel strongly about Forza 3. And I hate to say it, but if it needs to get bumped, I think Gears is probably the one that's probably more loved across the panel. If those were our 2 lower games.
Interesting.
Who feels really strongly about Quantum Break?
It's like my number 2 of the year. Okay. But I understand that if it's not, like if no one else is backing that one up, that can be a part of the lower 3 as well that we're, deciding.
It's in my 10, but it's just lower. There's a lot of experimental things in the game that like just didn't hit as much as it wanted to or something, like some of the episodes or whatever, but it's still like really good. And I still had a lot of fun with I felt so OP at some points of it. And Lance Reddick, RIP, we got to keep him in here,
Oh man, he's so good. And as someone who's
so why don't we just go through all 5 of us and we just vote either Forza or Gears and let's just keep Quantum Break in.
Oh, okay. All
right. Well,
I was going to say, did you mean Forza or Quantum Break? But okay, that's fair.
Well, I think Derek, it comes down to you because Dan and I were saying Gears and Kyle and Jeff were saying Forza. So Derek, it kind of comes down because I know you like
Gears.
both these.
It's Gears. Oh,
that's kind of the vibe I got too.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling as well.
All right, so
breaks my heart.
Forza Horizon 3 was number 10 last time around when we ranked these. Let's see here. What else?
That was all me, probably.
Let's see what else is kicked off the list. So
this is crazy.
Forza Horizon 3 was number 10. That's off the list now. Watch Dogs 2 was on the list last time. That was me pushing for that one. That's off the list now, and that's it.
But you don't have Watch Dogs 2 as high anymore, do you? Because you played some other ones.
It got bumped down. Yeah, I bumped it down to. Sorry, I keep having to switch on my phone.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it got bumped down. I think it barely made my 10. It's right.
Gotcha.
I think that and Mafia 3 I kind of have split. I don't know which one I like more. They're both really fun but flawed open world games that I just think are a blast.
Gotcha.
They're both kind of like 8 out of 10s for me. So I put those in the same bucket. That's bucket personally.
Mafia 3 just has better characters, better story, so that's 100%. Why I rate it
100%. I think Watch Dogs 2 has a slight edge in the variety of gameplay. So like I think they both have.
I agree.
I
with
like the world of Watch Dogs 2.
Dude, the
'cause
Watch
I
Dogs
did
2
go back
hacking
and
stuff
play
and
it.
drone stuff and the way you explore San Francisco.
But
I hear you on the
Mafia
characters,
is
but it is fun to explore
preferred
that
game.
See, what's funny is I almost platinumed the first one. Like I finished that game and almost
That's
platinumed.
crazy because I really didn't like that game.
I
didn't-
dislike that main
oh my
character
gosh.
so much I couldn't get through that game.
I didn't like.
I
Watch Dogs
loved
so much.
1 and 3.
And you weren't even
I loved
streaming
1
yet.
and 3.
Aiden Pierce. It was the most
I had
boring
no
character.
problems.
I had to.
The most
I had to
boring
make myself.
character in the history
I had to
of
make
video
myself
games.
finish that first one. I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
So bad. I remember
I
being
don't know.
completely blown
I
away
loved
by all
1
the
and 3.
E3 like
There you go.
blowouts of like the original Watch Dogs.
I think
So
one was 2014. Does that sound right?
maybe.
That was like
I
probably
don't know.
one of the most hype games ever. because
Yeah,
of
well,
all
because
the
that
was.
trailer,
That
that trailer
trailer.
they
The
showed.
trailer was out of
The
this world. though. And
trailer,
that original
yeah.
that E3 demo,
Yeah.
it was out of this world.
It was
so
All right,
good.
guys. So our honorable mentions list is now Dishonored 2, Far Cry Primal, I Am Setsuna, Inside, Ratchet
Sorry,
and Clank,
Dishonored 2, I failed you.
Super Hot, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, FE, Watch Dogs 2, XCOM 2, and Forza Horizon 3.
Hashtag FE, please.
Hashtag XCOM 2. Can't believe we killed that guy.
All right, so those are all
Awesome.
honorable mentions from the year. Here we go with our.
The amount of
10
games that made
games.
it that I don't like is awesome.
I don't think awesome is the word you were
you
thinking.
too?
Yeah, oh, you too. That's so funny.
All right, so we this is our 10 we're gonna rank, but I am curious, since Kyle and Jeff just poo-pooed our list. What would you what specifically on our list do you not? Dark Souls, Deus Ex, Doom, Final Fantasy, Gear. So hang on, let me guess for Jeff. Let me guess. Here we go. Dark Souls, Deus Ex,
Right.
Final Fantasy,
Gears.
Gears.
Well, then you just
Yeah.
like bad games.
No, the
that's
rest
it.
are good. You're good. You got it. Oh,
So
got
it's
all
those four.
Yeah.
Kyle, is it the same 4 minus Deus Ex? Is it these 3? Dark Souls.
No, it's definitely Gears, Doom, and Dark Souls. Dark Souls being at the top of those 3.
Gotcha.
So it sounds
All
like
right.
Dark Souls 3 has to be 10 on our list.
I think we can already do that. I think
I
that's
don't know.
fair.
Because I'm the
Nobody's gonna-
only one that
nobody's
loves
gonna
that
fight
game.
for
I would
that,
fight
so-
harder for that than Gears. That's for
Wait,
sure.
hang on. Before we press on, does anyone have like my favorite game from 2016 didn't make this list? I didn't even ask that. Does anyone have that? Like your top?
Oh,
XCOM
no, my
2,
favorite
it's like
one
in my top
absolutely
3.
made it.
Yeah.
But is
Yeah.
it
But
your?
yeah, not number 1. No.
Okay. I don't. That's one thing where I'm like, all right, as long as everyone
Number
at least
ones
has a
have. I
favorite.
feel like they have to make.
Yeah,
it.
my number one game I played 5 times and it made the list. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, it is good.
I beat it 5 times. I mean,
Okay.
it's
It's a good
crazy.
game.
And so Derek, your number 1, Dark Souls 3 got in, and Dan, your number 1 got in. You're good. Everyone's good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, my number 1 was actually Quadrilateral Cowboy.
Shut up.
Oh, shut up.
It's like the
Oh,
people
yeah.
that gave the tryhard trackers that gave what was the game that was like, okay, you're clearly trying hard. It wasn't Vampire Survivors. It was like something else.
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I already forgot some of
Stray?
the some of the
Yes,
words.
it was like something like Stray, where it's like, come on, man, it's not the game of the year. Get
Some
out
of the
here.
words that people used. I was like, man, this vocabulary that people use to try to sound smart is so annoying. Okay. So stuff that to me sounded like it might not be in the top half. So this is me pulling up some games I think are on the bottom half, although I don't know where quite yet. So I'm moving up Quantum Break, Gears of War 4,
Right.
Mafia 3.
Move Mafia back down.
It's not in the bottom half.
I don't think it is, but I mean,
I feel very strongly about that game, but I understand we're gonna have to make some cuts. So.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I was
that's
sorry.
fine.
That was just an impulse thing to say.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
good. That's good. So I think Quantum Break and Gears are likely in the bottom half. I think
Doom
be-
might be in the bottom
could
half.
be Doom in the bottom half. Yeah. And it could be
It might be Titanfall 2, actually.
Titanfall 2 in the bottom
Yeah.
half, maybe.
I don't know about that, dude.
You know?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Kyle's got 10 games in the top half of his top.
I
half.
do, yeah. I'm learning. Maybe I actually do like this list. I don't know.
That's so
I could
fun.
be wrong. Derek, what do you think about that? Like, are these kind of rounding out the bottom half somehow of this? Like, I've got Doom at number 2. It's my second, but I'm okay with it not being loved by everybody. That's fine. Doesn't
I
have-
feel like you won't catch me saying a lot of bad things about Doom. So if that makes it in the top 5, like
Is it
You're
more of
not
a
gonna
vibe
get
thing? Like it's not my vibe type of game or whatever?
I don't know. I don't like because that game is so locomotion. It's all about like going
Yes.
fast, and suddenly it's like you
time.
hit a wall. Where's the blue key? And I'm like, I don't want to look for that. I just want to keep going and fighting stuff. Like I don't want.
I don't
want to
look for that.
I don't want to. I don't want the game to ever stop and go.
Funny.
You don't
that's
have
like,
that
That's
thing.
so funny because that's like a staple of Doom. That's so
I
funny.
know. That's why I've always hated Doom. I've never been a huge fan of Doom at all.
Well,
So,
you know,
not hated. Hated's not the right word. Like that's not the right word.
To be fair, though, like people have the same feelings when they play a Metroid game, and I love that. I'm like, ooh, I have to go.
Yeah,
for
I vibe more with
Hassan
that.
bashes Resident Evil because of all the locked doors. He's like, oh,
Yes.
all we do
Hassan's
locked door
It's
simulator.
a not open door.
Another series where you hit locked doors, but like again, Doom's all about locomotion. It's all about
it is. You're right, and you're stopping that locomotion.
And then all of a sudden
hard.
it's like it feels like the brakes get hit on, and I hate that. It kills.
I think,
like
I
hear what you're saying.
agree with. I agree with Kyle, but mine's different. It isn't I'm mad that I like don't have the key. It's more I get lost in worlds that look the exact same. So me trying to find like a key, I'll just keep going through the same rooms, not realizing that I'm not exploring the full map because I'm like I'm confused.
You're just making circles and don't realize it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that all the time.
That's fair too.
But to answer your question, the only game, like, look, I really do like Gears of War 4, but I'm going to be honest, what is this, 7 years later, I don't really care, like, if it drops low. I would actually fight more for Titanfall 2.
I'm about to...
Oh, nice.
I'm about to throw this.
Because of the single player and the multiplayer. Like, it stuck out as both sides
I'm with
of
you.
that
I suggested that it would be in the bottom 5 purely because I thought I'd be the only one that felt that way. But, yeah, I do love this game, and I'm with Derek.
Oh, I know Kyle loves it too. So maybe Titanfall 2 is
maybe it will be in the top 5 somewhere.
Mid to the top spot. Dan, talk to me about Gears of War 4 and where you think this should end up landing. Because I also love it, but to be fair, if I'm looking at my rankings, I have it in the bottom half of my rankings, even though I did love it a lot.
So I'm gonna throw this out at you guys.
Yeah,
I would put Gears of War 4 above 15.
Final Fantasy 15.
Oh wow!
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
I don't think he's joking, and it's.
I'm not joking. I'm
not. You know what? You know what? Good for you, man.
Because here's the thing. Again, it's just.
I would actually, if you were to put both games in front of me right now, I'd play Gears over Final Fantasy 15.
Well,
like I honestly would. You know,
because here's the thing, and I've obviously brought this up before. Like just like with 13, there are things about it that I do like. So I'm not just like, oh, fuck that game, but like again, just the build up in years and years, and then it transitioning from versus 13 to 15, and then the story being what it ended up for me is just like it was just so disheartening. You know, it was just really disheartening.
I get it.
But
well,
I couldn't tell you the story, but I liked it.
Has to be moved up.
Excuse me.
Gears has to be moved up, as I said.
I mean, if he feels that strongly, and I like it, and you like it, Tim, and I guess, well, Jeff and Kyle feel strongly.
Well, Kyle liked it too, right?
All right, let's talk about Quantum Break.
No, Kyle doesn't like Gears.
No, Kyle's not.
No, I meant 15. Sorry, I was talking about 15.
Oh, Kyle does.
No, I love Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, I've got that at number 5 personally. I love 15 too. Let's talk about Quantum Break real quick because I want to kind of nail down a couple of the lower.
Like that could be lower. It sounded like just from pre-talk.
Oh, what Quantum Break?
Yeah.
It did kind of get lost in the discourse, but that could probably speak to why it should be number 9 or 8.
Yeah, and I wouldn't fight too hard about that.
Right, so maybe this one goes in one of these bottom 2 or 3 slots right here. Okay.
Yeah.
The other ones it's gonna be a little more tricky, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it at 9 for now.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Would Hitman probably be a bottom 5 then, or just based on everybody's feelings for the other ones, or
it could be as far as the group goes. It's number 3 for me, but I could see it being like a 7 or 8 spot.
It's like 10 for me. So,
what'd you say, Kyle?
I said it's up there pretty high for me. I really like that game, but again, if it's just Tim and I, and Jeff kind of likes it, like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot, but
it might be landing on one of these 2 spots. Anything else kind of in that same category?
Higher, lower 5.
So I've got Mafia 3 right down there, right beside Gears of War 4.
That's like Mafia 3. I have like at 5 because I haven't beaten it yet. So the highest I could put it was like, hold on, crap, I don't know where my list is now. I'm pulling a Tim right here.
Your spreadsheets.
Where the hell is it? Why did I remove my list from the screen that I had open?
So Derek, while just finding that, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Mafia 3? Like, is this like, hey, this needs to be top 5?
I have it at 4.
Oh, it's top 5 for me.
Is it? Okay. All right.
What was it on our 2016 list? Because I was the one that really liked it.
Bottom 5.
I don't know if did we rank it?
But I think in my personal list, I
No,
don't
we didn't even
it
have it.
like
We didn't have it
six.
ranked.
Oh.
That's bullshit.
Oh.
I have it in my top 10.
It did not make our top 10.
You got overruled, it sounds like. You got Dishonored 2'd, basically.
I actually cannot
Yeah.
remember if I had played it by the time we ranked that year or not. I might have.
I don't think you did. I think you started it. I don't
It
think
sounds
you
fresh
beat
in
it.
your mind. You might have played it after. I don't know.
Might have. Yeah. Yeah, I love Mafia 3 though.
But that's like,
So-
yeah, that's like a top 5. Even though I haven't even beaten it yet, like the story and the mechanics and how they feed into each other, which I can expand on when I need to. But like, I don't know, that one to me it's just top 5 material, man. It's just so good.
All right, I'm going to throw Hitman at number 8 for now, just so no one thinks we're talking about bottom of the list anymore. Now we're kind of in this middle section of the list. I think that's where we're going to start talking about, tell me if I'm crazy, Doom, Titanfall 2,
Doom.
Gears of War
It's
4.
gonna be
these-
Doom.
All these first-person shooters. I think Doom should be next. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Is it
It
safe
should-
to say
Doom
that
should either be 8 or 7.
Is that the
Okay.
vibe I'm getting for
How do you
everybody
feel
else?
about
Like, I
that
mean,
game?
I like it a lot, but
You
like,
grunted. How do you feel about that game?
I didn't play that first like Hitman game. I did the second one. I didn't play the episodic one, so I don't have anything to say about
it's
Hitman.
the
What
but
same
about-
experience.
What about
basically.
Doom though? What about
I did
Doom?
like Doom. I thought it was fun. I thought it was really fun.
But like, how high? If you were to make a personal list, how high would it be?
I mean, I've played a Hitman game before, so I would put Hitman above Doom for me personally.
Oh, then it would fall in that
Doom would
7
be
spot.
8 then, right? In Hitman 7.
So that puts Doom at number 8, it sounds
Because
like.
I'm cool with that. Hitman is so fleshed out, like, and there's so much
Yeah.
crap you can do and get away with.
I
without
like what's
even
going
knowing
on
you
in the
do it.
Hitman games. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's just I'm not batting an eye at this. This is
Okay, so Hitman and Doom sitting at 7 and 8, Quantum Break's at 9, Dark Souls at 10.
We got to split up the shooters somehow. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
There's
Space
still
them out.
3 more.
Space them out.
Is there any
Shooters.
I think Jeff, you're having some technical difficulty with Deus Ex and maybe not also enjoying it either. But is that
So
the
far,
only? Does everyone else pretty positive on Deus Ex or?
I
feel
love
like it's going to
Deus
be a
Ex.
top 5 game.
That's
My number one for the
That's
year.
like top 3 for me. I think if
Kyle's
I had to
number one.
re-rank these, it would
It's
be
because he
Dark
didn't want to
Souls
put Uncharted there.
3,
That's why.
Final
Yeah, that's
Fantasy,
why.
and then Deus
It's
Ex.
definitely not that I like Cyberpunk.
Wanna be
Wait,
different.
did you just say you would do Final Fantasy and Deus Ex above Uncharted 4? Yeah, for that year.
Yeah, Uncharted 4 was never high up. I'm the one that doesn't really like Uncharted 4.
Okay, got it. So I've got Deus Ex at number 4. It actually, on re-ranking, I moved it up above Final Fantasy and Watch Dogs 2 and Last Guardian. Like, to me, Deus Ex kind of hopped those games. It was just more memorable, and I loved it. So
Good vibes.
All right.
To me, it sounds like
I still have it behind my favorites, like Uncharted 4, Doom, and Hitman, but it's up there. Like it's.
I feel
competing
like
with those.
Final Fantasy 15 and Mafia 3 would be 5 and 6 somewhere.
I think that might be right, based on the love-hate for both of them. Not hate, but like love and disinterest, maybe. in
Yeah,
those two.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know Kyle loves it.
And
I-
Dan just
Yeah.
said Gears would be preferred over 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mafia 3 I unfortunately never played. Deus Ex, that's a whole series. I need to play that series. That's a blind spot for me completely.
Mhm.
I need to
Sounds
play
like, based on what Kyle said in chat, you can get away with playing the Human Revolution Director's Cut and then going into Mankind
Yeah,
Divided.
you just needed two.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's
just two
what
games.
I
two
would
most
do.
modern games.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Those are the
So I
only
have-
2 I
I
played.
have Human Revolution downloaded.
Because they
so-
are direct. Those two
We
are
gotta be
directly
honest, Human Revolution has a much better story because 2 ends on a cliffhanger. So,
Mm.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
Derek, Gears of War 4, Final Fantasy 15. Where do you land on those two?
Final Fantasy 15 is the higher rated one for me.
By a lot?
Well, it's my second favorite. I would drop Gears 4 probably out of my top 5.
So maybe Gears 4 belongs somewhere up here.
6,
In the 5 or 6 range. Because I think Derek and I kind of have it in the lower half of our top 10. I know Dan loves it, which is awesome. And Kyle's met on it. Jeff, I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm a
you
little
played it.
mad. I play it and have fun with them, but then I forget about them like immediately.
Maybe that goes right around Hitman. I actually might move Hitman above it if I had a vote.
I'm not offended by that.
I would put.
I
Hitman
would not
above
bat
it.
an eye at that either. Yeah.
I think I might put Hitman above Gears 4. Is anyone upset about that right there?
Daniel
Derek
and
might
I
be,
are.
but-
I would be. I mean, honestly, I would be fine with that. Again,
No,
I
Dan.
love the
You are
intricacies of that
really
series.
upset right
Of-
now.
I'm insane with anger.
He doesn't sound deceiving.
I think because you own 2, you own all of it now, Dan. If you ever go back to play
right.
1, it's
Right,
very
right.
good. I just
Yeah.
I played it for the first
Yeah,
time.
Kyle
get
just
one
did it
for free.
Yeah, he just did it this year.
It was very, very good. Yeah, I was blown away by it.
Okay.
And what's cool with the World of Assassination stuff, now the first 2 games, which they looked great for the time, but they've been completely remodeled and modernized to what Hitman 3 looks like. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty
very
sweet.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so where does that land us with Mafia 3? So I'm going to leave Deus Ex, Titanfall 2. Those are the ones, and along with Final Fantasy, Uncharted 4. I feel like those have been kind of gushed about and are pretty high. Maybe Mafia 3 goes at 5. Like, to me, that's pretty high for that game, but I think it's deserving. It's really fun. I think higher than 5 is starting to sound a little crazy.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
It's not crazy to me, but if it's crazy to everybody else, that's fine.
It's not
So,
crazy
like,
to me either,
putting Mafia 3 above Uncharted and Final Fantasy and Titanfall and Deus Ex is okay with you? Any of those?
Uncharted?
No.
Get out of here, bro. No.
Yeah,
But
no,
Mafia 3 above
absolutely
the
not.
others.
Wow.
Would you put Mafia 3
probably above Final Fantasy 15 for me too?
And above Titanfall 2?
I don't know.
Above Deus Ex?
No, Deus Ex my number 1.
All right, so it's not that crazy to say 5. You put it at 4. Get out of
No,
here.
I said it's
No, I
five.
put it at 3. I just
Oh, you would? You put it above
I have-
Final Fantasy?
I
and
have it
Uncharted?
Yeah,
at
that's what I
4,
said, yeah.
but I would definitely
Oh.
put my vigorous nodding was towards Final Fantasy 15. That's,
My vigorous nodding.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I feel like Mafia 3 is so much better than that game.
Yeah, I mean, I
not even
like
close.
it better than, but that's kind of my game genre. I like those open world, like checkboxy games or whatever.
I mean, Final Fantasy 15 has
is
some
a
of that
narrative
too.
mess. It's just a narrative mess. I love that game so much, but it's a narrative mess.
Yeah. Yep.
Dan, I know you didn't play Mafia 3 yet, so it's kind of hard for you to make that judgment call.
Right.
So you're probably indifferent on which one goes above which on those 2, or do you feel like
Between
no.
15 and Mafia?
Yeah, 15 and Mafia.
I think I would still choose 15. I think I would still choose.
Same here. Final Fantasy 15 is better.
It is not. It is absolutely not. It is the most repetitive gameplay I've ever experienced in a Final Fantasy. And that's my second Final Fantasy experience.
You weren't switching it up enough.
No, it's
Well,
So
I mean, you
ever.
can't really
That's
say
so
that.
good.
You got comfortable
awesome.
in what you were doing and then switch it up.
I do love the context you added at the end there.
I know, right?
Exactly 2 Final Fantasies, and this is the most
No, but
repetitive.
I went from 7 Remake, and I was like, that was amazing. I want to play more Final
Sure.
Fantasy. And then I played 15, and I
Sure.
played it for like, oh my god, I played it for so many hours.
Fair, though,
And I
there's
was like,
stuff.
this is
there's
not
stuff-
nearly as interesting as the
There's more
gameplay in
stuff to
7.
unlock in 15, though, like more weapons, different styles.
Oh,
like
it's a very intricate video game. That doesn't mean it doesn't have
Sure.
weaknesses, but
Oh,
it's a big
absolutely.
game. That is really funny to me though that you
A big
like
repetitive
listen.
game.
It's by far the worst Final Fantasy game I've ever played.
Out of the 2 I've played,
By a
just
lot.
trust me. Well, I've played Crisis Core 2 a little bit, but that doesn't really
All right,
count.
so but
Yeah.
I've now heard 2 different people say Uncharted 4 maybe isn't as high on the list.
My number 2.
It's your number 2 game?
Yeah, it's my number 1.
Oh,
My number 2.
Yeah,
It's
that would
really
put-
low from.
what happened? What just happened? Was that?
I don't
me?
know. The call just like
Yeah,
reset or
what-
something.
Thanos
I think
and
it's
stuff.
Skype.
Oh, is it recording still?
It
Yes.
says it is on my end, yeah.
Okay.
I've been having like network issues the whole time, but I just assumed it was me.
network
Your
connectivity.
picture is kind of freezing, but your audio is coming clear this entire time. Thank you.
Like
Derek?
I don't like. I haven't been seeing Tim moving anything. I just hear him talking about moving stuff.
Oh, you don't hear?
This is
you
the-
see my mouse moving right now?
Now, after it just did that weird like
Blink, yeah, refresh. It's
freeze,
weird
like
thing, yeah.
refresh. Now I can see everybody
Oh,
moving. I can
Was it
see-
moving for the rest of you guys? By the way,
It was.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
has
yeah,
been.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
That's why I thought it was me.
Okay. So, Titanfall 2 might be at number 5 then,
With
because
those
I
games,
have so far heard
yeah.
that X needs to be in the top 2, Final Fantasy needs to be in the top 2, Uncharted needs to be in the top 2, and Mafia needs to be in the
Yeah.
top 2. So like
Yeah,
we got to
Titanfall,
have a
yeah,
number
right.
5 out of these. I feel like Titanfall is the one that hasn't been championed as being at the top of the top.
It's a great game, but I'm okay. I think middle area is a great spot for that
if
game.
it went to number 5.
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually have Titanfall 2 ranked above Mafia 3, and I have a feeling it's because I haven't beaten Mafia 3 yet.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna love
Yeah.
the finale of that
Oh my
game.
gosh, I just know I am. Just
You're gonna love it.
the amount that it builds up its missions and like taking down
The choices really
local
matter because
bosses
like
and stuff.
You can't bring
Yeah.
everyone. You can't bring everyone with you to the end.
Yeah, well,
You
here's
gotta
here's
choose
the thing.
favorites,
Like
yeah.
once they introduced the whole wiretapping aspect and how getting more information on local whatever bosses can allow you to recruit them, I was like, cool, I'm gonna do that the entire game then. Like that's gonna be based. Like I'm gonna spend so many more hours playing this game because I want to recruit everybody and get more money. That mechanic is just so freaking cool, man. It's I'd never seen that in any game. I just thought that was so rad.
So we've got 4 that we're still trying to find spots for: Deus Ex, Final Fantasy, Uncharted, and Mafia. Dan, I'm curious what you're thinking based on what you're hearing everyone say, but also what you think about some of the orders here.
I think the quality of Deus Ex is obviously something to be acknowledged, so that should be it for me personally. I think it would have to go above 15.
Okay.
Like I know people really enjoyed those 2 games. And overall,
I believe that was
like
the
I said,
same year. That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Uncharted
wild.
for me would be number 1. So
you would have
Nice.
something like
How many
that?
people would put Uncharted at number 1?
I wouldn't
would.
fight. I wouldn't fight it. I feel like that's obviously.
Yeah, I think it's
easy.
far and away the best game of 2016.
Yeah,
With
it
all those
it sounds like
games
3
listed
people think it's
there-
number 1. I'm not mad that it'd be number 1, and only you would be mad that it would be.
Yeah, I'm the only one that would be mad. Like
I think
of
it's-
all those
I think
games,
it's we gotta at
I
least
think
talk
number 1
about it.
makes
We're
total
we're all-
sense for
We're all
probably
just
one of the
mentioning
most.
Uncharted 4 as kind of like a side conversation, but like Uncharted 4 it checks all the boxes for me personally that I want in a excellent video game. It's got an
for a
amazing
rock
story.
climbing
It is
simulator.
a
Yeah.
No,
it is
that's
a
triple. That's a
beautiful.
triple-A action experience. That's
It's got
100%.
great
very much
action.
That's
That's
a
nice.
fact. That's not even an opinion.
It's got great action. It's got the gameplay is fine tuned from the previous games, which were all Game of the Year
Oh my
winners in their
gosh,
own
yeah.
right. And it
Technical
also
showpieces.
adds some really cool stealth elements. It improves some of the stealth elements and this new grapple hook feature. And it has what I think was a fantastic story. Like that was a tough battle to be like, hey, let's introduce a character from his life that wasn't in the first 3 games. How do we do this? And I just think
So like all the stuff you guys like, which again, that's fine. I'm not contesting objectively whether this is a great game. I fully expected it to actually be number 1. But for me, like, not only did I not find the rock climbing, which they did way too much interesting, I also didn't like the story. I didn't like that they brought Tommy in out of nowhere, and I thought he was just an annoying character.
See, subjective, completely subjective. So that's all right.
So it doesn't matter. It's
It does,
my
it
point
does
is
matter,
I'm
though,
allowed to
because,
say.
like, the story totally explains everything surrounding his brother to such a satisfying degree, and you're just like,
Okay,
he's annoying.
you really
Like, I mean,
like the game, that's fine. I said objectively, that's fine. I'm saying my opinion, which of course would be subjective, which is what I
Right.
just said. I'm saying that I don't like Tom in the story or whatever. I thought he was an
Is that his
annoying
name?
character.
Yeah.
And I don't like any. I just didn't like the. Like, I replayed the game, so I played it twice, and then I restarted on PC. So I played it enough to know
Sam.
it's
His
just
name is
not
Sam.
something
Sam. Yeah.
I
Tom-
really
Tommy's
cared for.
Last of
Of
Us.
all
Yeah, Last of
the
Us, yeah.
Uncharted games, it's the worst for me. Like, I like the first 3 more.
Comical.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
Not
that's interesting. I
It's
actually want to go
just
back and
you
think
like
through
it.
those. I wonder which one how I would rank those. I haven't thought about ranking just the Uncharted games. I mean, the main 4.
Well, so I think 4 kind of ruined the rest for me because I played 4 first, and then I played the collection
did?
completely.
So that's why it's not comical.
I like
I
what's considered
literally
the worst
played them
one
in
the
order.
best, personally. So
First
You
one.
like
What?
what?
3 is my favorite.
3.
Everyone
Okay.
hates
So the
3.
thing that I like the most
I
about
like
4 is
3.
how
Me too.
completely
Me too.
grounded the story is and how there's no stupid magic stuff at the end. Like that's my favorite aspect of it. Especially because they're playing on now that I've played all 3 and played Uncharted 4 multiple times after that. I feel like they're definitely playing on the audience expectations in the story to be like, oh no, there's no magic here. It's just about obsession. Like,
well,
this
it
is a
wasn't even
plot about
magic,
obsession.
right? You think it's magic, but it's actually like
You know what I
there is
mean?
like
though?
a
Like,
ground.
like
Yeah.
this
It's-
whole
but there's like a
revival
ground
zombified stuff
stuff.
from like the first. Is it the first one or second one? That there's
It's
like
very
zombies or
Indiana
something?
Jonesy where there's
Yeah,
like,
there's like a
yeah.
lot of like,
It
oh,
makes
this
sense.
thing here revives people, or this thing here makes you immortal, or whatever.
it's like Tomb Raider. It's like Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
there's-
exactly. Whereas the fourth one was like, no, we're gonna make it feel like the characters are chasing that. But then when you get there, you're gonna realize, oh, that's it's about people just betraying each other over gold at the end of the day.
You know what? There actually was
Yeah.
magic in that game. It somehow split the audience that used to love all their previous games.
I freaking know. No kidding.
That
Yeah.
was the magic.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone could
Half
watch
the group
like
feels the
some
same
of the
way as
action
Derek,
sequences
and
in
I'm
that
like,
game.
See, and
I have
I'm-
big feelings about it.
So when I originally played, like, because I played them all in order. So 1 was,
Yeah.
like, I knew it was nostalgia, but I absolutely loved 1. I just
like
thought
1
it was
too.
great.
It was
Yeah.
another
I thought
like PS3
2
technical showpiece, you know.
2 was really good, and then I didn't
man, yeah.
actually really like 3 at all. And then when I went back and replayed them, 3 jumped up to like my second favorite. It's
Well,
like
interesting. A lot of people
really
didn't like that
good.
one.
Yeah,
like that one a
I
lot.
would go
But
like 4 /
That's why I
Lost,
replay games.
4 / Lost Legacy is like, that's like to me pinnacle. Uncharted just don't do anymore after that.
I
to
think
me,
2 is the next best after that.
And then, 2
Most
is my
people, I
second
think,
favorite
still
for
like,
sure.
Yeah.
And
But
then I would
remember
go the
like
first
4
one and then
having
3.
its like fair share of people, because you were saying like you were joking like it split the audience. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people would still crown 2 the best. Not me or a lot of people here. It sounds like, but
Yeah, it's up there.
Um,
It's good.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
up there
listen,
for a lot
these
of
are
people.
all
Freaking
great.
Great, dude. Oh my god, yeah. What a
These
legacy.
are all great.
yeah,
Yeah.
these
I
are
mean,
it's a great series. Yeah.
like I do feel like if I could kind of step back looking at this list again, I feel like Mafia 3's got to land at number 4.
Sounds like
Yeah, I'm
it.
surprised it's still
Final
there, honestly.
Fantasy 15 at number 3, and now we just have to decide between Deus Ex and Uncharted at the top.
Hmm.
But am I off? Is Final Fantasy 13 fighting for the top spot?
15.
15, sorry.
How dare you?
Fighting for what spot?
The
No,
top
I'm the
spot?
only one that would put 15 at the top spot of the
Of the
4
ones
games
that are
left.
left, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Mafia 3 at the 4th spot,
That
which
makes
is
sense
awesome.
to me.
Awesome.
Which is, by the way, just spitting in the face of the critics out there. They just horribly
I
reviewed.
hated this game. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah.
I will say I've been having
Racist.
some minor technical problems with the definitive edition. Apparently, every time you finish a mission and it tells you your stats, the camera just gets frozen there, and you have to back out and reload the checkpoint every single time.
5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 game.
It's the most.
That's
It's
terrible.
the only terrible thing about it at this point. And then some lighting issues too, but that happens with almost every open world game I experience.
I think your PC's broke.
No, I actually switched from PC because the PC port was really broken. So I switched to PS4 5. The
Your
PS4
PS4
version of it, I guess. But yeah.
Hmm.
It works better on console, that's for sure.
Okay. So then at number 3, if I were to put Final Fantasy 15 there, does that feel unfair? I'm truly not trying to push these rankings. I'm trying to find out do I have the right vibe of our conversation here. Sounds to me like Final Fantasy 15's at 3. And then it sounds like a contested 1 versus 2, Uncharted versus Deus Ex, but it also sounds like it's like 3-2 or 4-1. I don't know, something like that. No, 3-2.
Yeah,
3-2.
if it's between Deus Ex and Uncharted 4, I think I'm the only one that.
No, I
would
think
put
Kyle
Deus
has it
Ex
as number
ahead.
1.
No, I have it as number 1.
Okay.
So, but
I
I
think
think
okay.
it's just 2 of us so like
All right.
I
Yeah,
think
so
it
it'd
lands
still be
like that.
3-2.
my hands are already up, guys. You know.
Oh. This was actually the last year. No, that's not true. 2017, my top game won. I was gonna say it's my last year, my top game won. That's not true.
What the hell was 2017? What was your
Zelda.
favorite game that year? Oh, Zelda. Oh, duh. Okay. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
If any other game won, would you guys have just like stopped podcasting?
There were other good games that year. Mario Odyssey.
I know it was a
and-
great year, but like also Breath of the Wild was like just like head and shoulders above so many other games for so many people. So
Yeah, for me it was. Too.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Thanks, Dan.
I think a lot of
I don't know.
people picked Persona 5 in 2017.
You did. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
Persona
yeah.
is-
Horizon
Persona's
got a
pretty-
lot of attention. Yep.
Horizon would definitely be.
Oh
up
my
there.
God, was
I
that the
don't-
same year? Holy
The same year.
shit! God damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember because
Horizon
Horizon got
came out,
overshadowed
like, a week
completely.
before, yeah.
No, I meant like
2017.
Zelda. Those 3 games, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Zelda
don't even remember what
Persona.
my
That's a
number
crazy. that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Zelda, Persona, Horizon, Mario
Horizon.
Odyssey,
Oh my
guess
God,
I-
and Mario Odyssey. Holy
Mario
shit!
Odyssey.
I guess
And
I
Xeno-
took,
that was the same year.
and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 hit at the end of that year. It's crazy.
Uncharted
Oh my-
Lost Legacy
Yep.
was that year too, and that was
Uncharted
definitely my
Lost
favorite.
Legacy?
Even
That's
though it was
gonna-
a small experience, I still was my
Yeah,
favorite.
It's a
We're
very
ranking
for a small
2017.
experience. It was very big.
Oh yeah, it felt huge.
When we do
Yeah.
this again for the following 2, this was easy, guys. This was easy.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
because
say.
2017 and 2018 are going to be brutal.
2 hours
Yeah.
of just taking it
Especially
easy.
'cause I have no Breath of the Wild experience. Maybe I will after Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and maybe hopefully I love that game. Maybe I'll want to circle back. But like when we come back to 2017, man, I want to have some time with Breath of the Wild.
Dude, the other thing is like both those years had games that I didn't play by the time we ranked games that I have since played that now I'm like, great, now I don't know which one to pick because like it was obvious then. It's much less obvious now. It really is.
Too much.
Well, I know Persona 5 would be much higher for me now. Whereas I think in 2017, I think I agreed that I liked it, but
I was on the podcast and I was the only. I don't even know if it ended up making. Did it make top 10 that year?
I think it did.
Was that a Mercy Kyle choice? Or
no, it had to have made it. I'll look it up.
Because I remember nobody really cared.
So I had put like 20 something hours, so I know I was with you on it, but I wasn't with you like getting it to the top or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
sure. That makes sense.
I'm actually, and now I gotta look to see.
Curiosity. Yeah.
I have to know.
I do love. Yeah, I love Persona 5. Actually, that was like my first time.
Persona 5 was.
That was my first time playing a game like that because up until then I was still.
Persona 5 did
maintaining that anti-JRPG gimmick.
Yeah, I figured it did.
I super enjoyed 3 and 4, but they were long games, and I just at the time just wasn't feeling like finishing them. But 5 hooked me enough for most of the time.
Or let me read this off for the listeners real quick, and then we're gonna move on. Dark Souls at number 10, Quantum Break number 9, Doom at 8, Gears of War at 7, Gears of War 4 at 7, Hitman at 6, Titanfall 2 at 5, Mafia 3 at the number 4 spot, Final Fantasy 15 is 3, Deus Ex Mankind Divided at 2, and Uncharted 4 at number 1.
Look at all those sequels. So many non-original ideas in the industry. Who even wants to do this anymore?
Wasted resources.
What a waste. Yeah, what an absolute waste.
So let me say this about 2017 too.
That was a different time, dude.
2017
Dark
also
Souls 3 at 10 is unsubscribed. Like I'm unsubscribing from this podcast.
We write it in
no one cares about Dark Souls.
2017 also had Resident Evil 7, Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2, Nier Automata.
Yes.
Oh my! Are you kidding? Nier? What?
Dude, 2017 was brutal.
You know what?
Rocked.
I'm just not even showing up for that episode. I don't even want to. I don't even want to deal with it. I
actually may feel too high about too many of those.
You know what?
Destiny 2 launched that year. Oh, I love that game, man.
I
haven't nearly played it as much as Derek has.
You know what? You guys are going to be mad.
Monster it is now.
You guys are going to be mad to know that Derek and I made sure that Mass Effect Andromeda finished above a bunch of those.
Oh my god, you guys suck.
Good.
That's
it
was
between.
I don't know.
Come on.
For me, it was between Andromeda and Breath of the Wild. Where my
Andromeda was so great. Are you kidding me?
It was one of those things where Derek had it at number 2, and I had it like around 5 or 6 or something.
I think
like
I
that.
had it at number 3.
And so it was high enough that I was like, this has to be.
Yeah,
in
that
the
would
top
be
5.
really high for me too. Like,
yeah, I know Dan doesn't like it.
It would end up being really high for.
No, it was just the controls that were.
2017 is rough for ranking.
Yeah, Evil Within 2, Middle Earth, Shadow of War.
God, Evil Within 2 also. Holy.
Yeah, Shadow of War, The Fractured, however whole. Hellblade, Derek's favorite.
Hellblade,
yeah. Prey.
What the hell no.
Derek Blade.
Splatoon 2, everybody's favorite in this podcast. Dishonored, the whatever the spinoff was. Death of the Outsider.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff.
DLC.
All right.
Oh, they turned
it
into the full game.
Well done. We made it through that together. Well done, everybody. Let's go through real quick a few, and I know Derek, you might drop off. But let's go through a couple things that we're watching and playing. And Derek, I want to start with you. You pick something you've watched or played recently. That way, in case you have to drop off, no big deal.
Okay.
So why don't you kick us off? Stuff you're playing or watching, anything.
Okay, I'll start off with what I'm playing. I've been jumping around a lot of games, so I've been playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. I started a second playthrough. I can say this, like, not even trying to be like fanboy and stuff. I like I was saying earlier in the rankings, I like to replay stuff to kind of reassess if I really like something or if I devalued something that is actually more valuable than I realized. Breath of the Wild is really, really good. Like, just even the beginning of the game, like, I was just playing it, getting lost in the world. If you're playing it like, I want an open world mission based game, then you're going to hate it. But if you're playing it like I'm just a kid on an adventure and I'm just going to explore, it's really, really fun. So I've been enjoying that, but I landed, and then I jumped to The Last of Us on PC, which I won't talk long about that, but I actually put a full night in it and got about 4 or 5 hours into it. So I definitely think I'll replay it or finish that one off.
Nice.
But the game I ended up settling on that I'm going to play is Persona 5, and I originally put in another 10 hours on my PS4 playthrough, which means I'm over 50 hours. But I just watched a video about Persona 5 Royal and how much different it is, how much better it is. I'm like, shit.
No, dude.
So
don't let all these people get in your head. Just play what you're playing. All it does is add a little more to something that's already great. What was there was already great. No one was asking for more when that game came out. You know?
We need more. We need
So
more.
keep on pushing through.
But I really do want to finish it. So I was like,
Yeah.
man, maybe I should just switch to Persona 5 Royal. Because she's really hot. So I kind of want her.
She is. She's.
But-
You know, I'm
She's
actually
pretty.
mad that I just defended all that.
Kyle was trying to
I
help
take it
you out.
back.
Now he feels bad about it.
I take it back.
But anyways, I just want to say Persona 5 Royal, or Persona 5 in general, is just a really outstanding game. And I've been,
Yep.
obviously, if people have been listening to the show, they've noticed that I've been really going hard and heavy on a lot of JRPGs. So I would say the last year, starting with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and then going on. So this is kind of like where I'm going back to a game that I already liked, but because it wasn't my thing, it was easy for me to walk away from. Now I feel like JRPGs are becoming my thing, so I don't want to walk away
RPG
from.
Renaissance.
Yes,
That's what it is.
or whatever you meant by that.
Like you're
So
getting back into-
objectively and subjectively, it's a good game.
Alright.
And then as far as stuff that I'm watching, the only thing I think the only thing I'm really watching that you guys have talked about was Barry. I'm in season 3.
Oh wow, you're plowing through it, dude. That's
Trucking
awesome.
through it. Yeah.
I want to rewatch
Yeah, well,
it before the final season myself.
Same here.
Yeah,
I want to start from the beginning myself.
It's
like 2
not
weeks,
very
so.
it's not very hard to go through them. They're like 25-minute episodes, and there's only 8 per season. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to say I'm in like episode 2 of season 3. So I'll probably knock it out. By
There was a
by
guy
the
that
end
you
of tomorrow.
referenced in our group chat, and I was like, I don't remember who that is because
Oh,
something happens.
well,
to him.
yeah, he
I
doesn't.
need to
I'm not
see
gonna
that.
spoil it, but he doesn't last long in the show.
Yeah,
But he's
that's what I
alpha.
found
Oh,
He's
it's
out.
alpha.
probably because he just gets sent to a farm to live happily.
Yeah,
I get
exactly. It's the Bambi thing.
Well, it's just
Or
it's
not
funny
Bambi.
because like
Yelper.
Barry is a very beta character, and so he's like interacting with this guy, and he's like trying to tell him like, "Hey, man, we're gonna do it my way, not your way," and he's doing it just like that. He's like, "So you got it right," and the guy's not. He's just watching porn. He's not even paying attention. He's like, "Yeah, cool."
Oh, okay.
like,
now
yeah,
I remember what you're
cool.
talking about.
Cool. Like the whole time, he doesn't give a crap what Barry says, but you think he's listening because he'll just say, yeah, I agree. Okay. And then when they go to like do what they're supposed to do and do Barry's plan, he completely disregards Barry. Barry's like screaming like, bro, you're supposed to turn there. And he's like, nope, we're going to do it my way. So like it was just a funny interaction. His whole character was funny compared to like how Barry is and how you could see Barry was trying to be strong, but he couldn't be strong. He was too weak. But overall, I really like the show. Like, it's a good mix of trying to be serious and having this dark tone while still being fun, like outrageously
comedy.
funny at
Yeah.
times. It's a dark comedy, but some of the comedy is like very light. Like it's
Sure.
like that doesn't go with this, but I don't get mad at it. I'm like, it's fun. Like Hank's entire character doesn't fit in the show at all. Like if it was at all grounded in reality, that guy would be dead in the first 5 minutes.
No
But
kidding.
because it's like this mix of like dark, grimy, like mafia type stuff with this like comical, like really, dude, type characters, he fits into the show in a hilarious way. Like
think,
he's the funniest part.
If I'm not mistaken, he brought so much of that character that was not in the script that they had to write him into the show more. Like he was supposed to be just a
They
bit
probably
player.
were gonna kill. They were.
Yeah, I think they were
going
to kill him off at one point, and then they were like, "No, we can't. He's just too good."
It's just
Yeah.
No, but he's great. It's overall, it's a really fun show.
Henry
I do
Winkler's
like that
outstanding
it's
in it,
short.
too.
Yeah,
I will
he's
say,
really
with the way you guys
good.
talk about this show, more of you need to try Mr. In Between on Hulu, that Australian show.
I remember you mentioning that one. Yeah.
It's same type of thing, very dark, but funny, darkly funny, short episodes. It's really good. You guys should check it out. It's checking all the boxes of everything you just described. It's just set in a different place. But I'm not saying it's as good as Barry. I haven't seen Barry yet. I haven't seen Barry yet, but it is very. I mean, it sounds very similar. But
I should probably bring up, like, before I get off, and everybody can chime in that saw it. I did see Mario, so I've been going to the theaters a lot. So I saw Avatar and I saw Mario.
You saw Avatar?
Oh wait,
yeah, I think I talked about Avatar last week, so I won't.
I don't remember you bringing it up last week.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I saw it in 3D. It's really good. I enjoyed the action. I'm talking about Avatar. I saw it in 3D. I enjoyed the action. The story and characters were like, what? No, I don't even. Just stop talking.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
What?
But
No.
but the action throughout, and just, I won't even say just the action, but like the scenery, like just everywhere you are, and the animations and how beautiful it is on big screen, movies, especially in 3D. Yeah, it's really, really good looking game.
I don't know how he keeps up in the ante with 3D, which is a technology I'd long considered dead after the first movie came out. Like nobody's been able to do it the way he has.
I think he's the only one keeping it alive. I don't think many people.
Pretty much nobody can do it the way he does.
Yeah. So I thought that was good. And then Mario, I saw that and I said it in our chat. To me, Mario's fine. Like, Mario is a good Mario movie. And Tim said this. He's like, it's Mario. Like, the plot is the same in almost every Mario game. So I think if they made the plot where somebody wasn't being kidnapped, which I get, they're not going to kidnap Princess Peach because that doesn't go for modern.
It's played
day,
out,
but like,
as well.
It's just played out. Yeah. But having the whole kidnapping thing, that's kind of look. I would like for them not to do that in the second Mario movie, which is obviously going to come.
Oh my god!
It's going
to. I'm totally fine with them doing it in the first one. So I thought that was fine. There's just a couple of characters that I thought were really good. But here's my thing. I agree with Jeff a lot about. First of all, I don't like the studio who does it. I don't think I've liked any of their movies.
Studio.
I may have. Yeah, I may have liked maybe one or two that I don't even know that I liked, but
I'm kind of with you.
They're not somebody I care about. Like, I think they do like Sing and all that stuff. I don't watch that crap.
But like as well.
Yeah, I'm not really into those. Okay. But like this movie as a movie is not very good. Like, there's so many things that it like falls short in that I was just like, I don't like. What are you doing? I don't even understand what you were trying to be funny, but then you weren't. And then in the way they did some of the humor wasn't like, I didn't understand what they were doing. I thought as I was watching, I was like, you could have just done this and it would have been funnier. And some of the casting I didn't like. I didn't like the whole Kong area. I thought the fight scene was cool, but like the whole area in general felt like a waste. I didn't care for the characters. I thought they kind of screwed up the Mario Kart part of it too. I thought that should have been the funnest part of the movie. Yeah, I thought it would be. It's Mario Kart, but they're trying to make it movie-like, so they can't be like, "Hey, we're racing on a track." So
it's not a race. They're actually trying to go somewhere.
Yeah, they're trying to get away, but I just didn't like how it was done. It didn't feel. I don't feel like they threw enough nostalgia, like Mario Kart references in it, to make it feel like, well, they are kind of racing, you know.
But I actually like that. That's interesting. I actually like that scene more than you did. Huh.
Okay. Yeah, and then the only thing that I really liked, and I know a couple of you guys touched on it, is I thought Bowser was worth. He needs to be in his own movie.
Jack Black.
Bowser carried the entire movie, and then there's this depressed star that I wanted. I guess it's a boy. I don't know, but I wanted that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No,
I wanted that kid star to just be in the movie more too. And it was like how they talked too was like so fast that sometimes I was like, "What did you say?" I think you said something terrible. Oh, he said something terrible. And the way everybody was reacting to the star was hilarious because at first. I didn't think the star was going to be the way the star was, and then when it starts talking and everybody starts reacting and going, and I was like, "Oh, this star's like saying some god awful things." I'm like, "This is crazy."
That's the adult humor part, right? You know, that's the adult humor.
Yeah,
part.
I think it is. Like, especially because they were like throwing in lines that were like pretty between all the kiddie stuff, it would be like
Sure.
a throwaway adult nihilistic line that adults would be like, "Ha, that's funny."
Yeah. Life is terrible.
So
Yeah.
here's one thing I do want to say that I agree with Jeremy Johns on. So I said off the top that it would be a little cliche to steal Princess Peach, right? So I didn't have a problem with her being there. I just wish they didn't separate Mario and Luigi, because I feel like they would have been more interesting together than apart. Because I felt like in the beginning of the movie they were fun together. They had this brotherly love, and they were going back and forth, and they supported each other. I felt like they could have done more if they came up with maybe stealing somebody else, or stealing maybe stealing a bunch of toads or something. I don't know.
Maybe the whole
Doing
toad
something
population or something. Yeah.
Yeah, come
Something
and
with big
take the Mushroom Kingdom.
Right.
Take the whole Mushroom Kingdom, and then Princess, Luigi, and Mario have to fight to get the whole Toad Kingdom back. Something like that would have been cooler to keep them together.
I do think that I like what you're saying about them splitting up Mario and Luigi, because I do feel like that's a better plotline for a sequel once we've already established how well they bond and stuff. Because you're right, they only bond for maybe 10 minutes in the movie, in the first 10 minutes, and then they're split up through the rest of it.
And then you get them at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end, it's supposed to feel like a really, you're supposed to feel emotionally whole
everyone's
at that
reunited
moment.
again.
Yeah, it's supposed to feel pretty powerful, but it kind of doesn't, because you don't really feel their chemistry yet. As characters, I guess. But
But overall, I thought it was a fun movie. It's not. If I really, really liked it, I would tell you guys I'm going to go back and see it again. I didn't like it enough to say I'll go back and see it again. I thought it was good. I enjoyed seeing it with my daughter and hearing her giggle. She really enjoyed Bowser. She really enjoyed the star, and she just enjoyed the movie.
Peaches.
Yeah. Jack Black wrote that song.
He did. He co-wrote that song. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You could definitely tell he wrote that song.
Yes, it's very
lyrically, that's Jack Black.
I feel like that's the part that he wrote, is when he freestyles. The rest of it's the movie writers, the game writers, and stuff. And he's like, "Can I just freestyle here?" Sure. Peaches.
They probably gave a couple sentences, and then he just deviated off of it and just kept repeating himself.
Just went Tenacious D on him.
Oh man, Jack Black committed so hard. He's definitely the highlight of the movie for me as well.
And there was a story on IGN saying that he wants to do a Bowser. He's like, "Well, there's so much we could do with Bowser. We should do our own Bowser."
They're gonna have enough money to do another one,
but
for sure. So apparently, it's outgrossed Frozen 2 as the highest animated movie opening of all time,
which is cool, because that means we're gonna get another Mario. But as a Zelda fanboy, this opens the door to me getting a Zelda movie
or Nintendo properties.
I cannot
getting
wait
the
to hear
tone
that
of that
voice.
is going to be tricky.
Let's hear that Link voice. They're totally
Give
not gonna
me
screw that up.
a live action Bayonetta. That's what I'm saying.
Live
action.
Actually, yes.
So it's a
Actually,
porn.
yes.
It's a porno.
We all know Link will be Chris Pratt. We already know
God
that.
damn it! God damn it!
I'm in.
I'm in.
No, they would cast Keanu for that.
He just
They
does
need to
all
make
the
it
main
quiet.
characters of Nintendo.
Since we're talking about Super Mario Brothers already, I do want to say Chris Pratt did a good job as Mario.
We've heard nothing about Chris Pratt was terrible, as I expected. We've heard none of those.
No.
Suddenly the haters got quiet.
This guy got ragged on for 9 months for no reason. It sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you
I
can make
think
an
it's
argument.
cool to
you can
hate
make an argument
Pratt
that they
now, and I
didn't need
think
It
him.
is.
To,
Yeah,
I agree.
You can make an argument they didn't need him to do that voice, because he kind of put on an New York Italian accent a bit.
It was like a modern Italian accent.
But it wasn't overdone, and it wasn't obnoxious, and I thought he did a good job. But anyway,
I mean, it's one of those where I get you're trying to.
Was good, but
yeah, I think I get that you're trying to sell a movie with a big star's name in there, but I really think the guy, and he was in the movie, that does Mario's voices could have totally pulled it off, and people. Yeah, and people still would have shown up. They wouldn't have been like, "Well, I'm not going to see this. Chris Pratt didn't play Mario." They would have been like,
the movie.
Yeah. I think they could have totally.
It's strange that they changed it, but I get also the reason to put someone front and center.
I feel like that was definitely a collaborative thing of the Japanese studio, Nintendo studio, being like, what do Westerners like? Chris Pratt, right? So let's put Chris Pratt.
Well, if you look at,
they're not reading the news, nobody liked him.
About us,
but look at the translations of a lot of their popular anime movies. They get big names to voice those characters.
Right.
I don't know if Kyle, this might actually excite the Japanese version of the Mario movie. You know who does Bowser? It's the same voice actor as All Might.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
From what? What is that
That's so
from?
cool.
From
Quadrilateral
My
Cowboy.
Hero.
Quadrilateral Cowboy is
Yes,
what it is.
Quadrilateral Cowboy.
Nobody
know.
talks in that. How dare you? It's insulting.
I thought
So that's pretty sweet. That's
I thought
pretty
Key,
That's
I thought,
super cool.
uh, Key from
Toad?
Key and Peele did a great job as Toad. I thought
Yeah.
he was funny.
well, he is. Yeah,
They
he's
pitched his voice perfectly too. Like,
Yeah, I thought-
Yeah.
The movie had just enough good stuff in it for me to enjoy, but it was, obviously it's a Mario game. It's
Yeah.
meant to be a delightful experience for families, of course.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
there are things about it that keep it from being an Oscar contending movie that adults would love, like a Pixar movie, which they have some special sauce that no one else has. Don't know what it is, but Pixar just does it, and they hit everyone every time, almost
Yeah.
every time. So I get that.
Almost. Yeah. More recently, they've been taking more swings that you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah. But so
Good
this
dinosaur?
this certainly is not to that level of moving you emotionally. You talked about how the ending could have been more powerful.
Sure.
Yeah, that's probably true. I had zero expectation of being moved or feeling like anything was powerful.
Yeah.
So I think I almost went into it I'm going to watch a video game, an hour and a half video game story,
Sure.
and that's exactly
That's what I went. I
Honestly,
was
it was
looking
better
for
than
fun.
a video game story, and it was better than it was made me laugh more than a video game ever really does, except for a few exceptions.
Yeah.
So I thought I had good laughs. I thought the Mario Kart part was actually really fun. I really disagree with you on that. I thought it was a blast.
I enjoyed that part a lot, actually.
The Donkey Kong part was weird, and that's the one spot where the music really stood out to me. Take on Me during the ride through the village made no sense.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
But the
I
rest-
don't know. I like the song, but I didn't know.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Like it
That's
didn't.
classic.
They didn't have it, and you were like, "Well, I know why you picked that song." It was just like,
Yeah, they had Holding
okay,
Out for
he's
a
just
Hero when
listening to Take on Me.
They played
That's all.
Holding Out for a Hero, which is a third 2023 movie to do that, by the way. They had Holding Out for a Hero playing when he's doing platforming and learning how to
Shrek
do
2
that.
did it first.
And I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's the perfect song for that sequence. Shrek 2 did that, and that's
Yeah, they did.
no, it's a DreamWorks movie. I was gonna say that's Illumination. They're just recycling the
yeah.
crap.
We stole on the license.
Shrek 2
yeah,
did that
let's,
too, yeah. But I thought that
Shazam
worked.
2 did it, and Tetris did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But I do want to
You're
say,
right, they did. Yeah.
yes, there's I looked it up just to see am I crazy? I didn't feel like there were that many, but I think there were 5 licensed songs that hit at key moments in the movie, and Take on Me was one, and the hero song during the montage, and there's a couple others too. And AC/DC has a song in every cartoon, I feel like.
I think the
Thunderstruck.
AC/DC was the
It's in every
Thunderstruck
trailer for
during the
every
racing.
episode.
It might have been during the
But
racing stuff.
The score was fantastic, and I
I
highly
wish they
recommend
Yeah,
did
I
it
liked
more,
when
dude.
they dropped
So
Mario
good.
songs. I
So
love.
I was gonna
that.
say, was there the actual Mario theme
Dude,
for
yes,
this?
there's
Like,
so
oh,
much.
Yeah.
okay.
so much.
Okay.
And when they
So,
did it, it wasn't like the way you know it, where it's 8-bit
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
they're actually weaving it between orchestral big sounds.
Yeah,
and,
see, that's amazing.
they're
Yeah.
slowing
was
it down. And
Tetris
beautiful.
did that
Good.
recently too. The movie. Where
Tetris did
they
that.
figured out really interesting ways to get that song. So good job,
Yeah,
video game
the score
movies
was great,
lately.
and I
Doing
think this is by far Illumination's most pretty movie. I kept commenting. We're
Yeah.
watching we didn't see it in
Yeah.
3D. We saw it in IMAX though, and it was
Mm.
just I was like, this animation is gorgeous.
Yeah,
and the city was great.
It's perfect for Mario. It is.
I was like, dude, if they
perfect.
make a game that looks like this, I
Yeah.
will cry. So
Well, they're about to announce it in a couple months.
I know.
It's
Just
Switch
wait.
Pro.
And
on
I'm
the
telling
Switch.
you, I believe all these
Switch.
rumors that they've been soft
Yeah.
working on this game for a
Yeah.
while now. So
yeah, so this is certainly I'm with you, Derek. This is not worth me figuring out a babysitter and packing up the kids for another theater visit.
Right.
That was a lot of work to get that to work out this weekend.
Sure.
But it's certainly one that when it's on streaming, we're totally going to watch it again as a
And
it was fun.
Should be a Peacock movie because it's got that Universal right up
Universal,
front.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay.
they
Well,
own Illumination.
This is one of them I would buy. I would
Yeah.
want to own it.
Honestly, you know what? It had enough sequences in there. It was pretty much my gripes are mainly story and emotional beats and the lack thereof in this movie. But anytime there's an action sequence or anything happen that's more kinetic, I was so floored. I loved all that stuff. So I would totally own this in 4K.
It is the best Illumination movie, and I am not a hater. I actually think the Sing movies are both pretty decent. I think the Secret Life of Pets movies are pretty hilarious. I think Despicable Me and Minions has been overdone. I totally get it. I understand. But I thought the first Despicable Me was a good, funny movie. I really did like it.
Do you recall if Illumination did Madagascar or was that DreamWorks?
No, that was DreamWorks.
That was DreamWorks, yeah.
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks has that thing where they do one great movie and then their sequels are not nearly
I
as
like
good.
their version of
Right.
I like their version
Yeah.
of the Grinch, but their version of the Grinch was a good preview of what they were going to do with Mario. It was a very safe
Sure.
telling of a familiar thing.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what Grinch was. It was like a high quality but safe and predictable version of what you already know. And that's kind of what this Mario movie was. They played it pretty safe. I totally understand that, but you guys are right. There's a lot of possibility for really cool stuff with a sequel or spin-offs.
Yeah, like they're already talking about like Wario, Waluigi, all these people that they want to add in. And then there's a post-credit scene at the end of this movie that alludes to another character. Yeah.
Do a lot of stuff
yeah, so like it's the future is they're open to multiple possibilities.
I mean, Mario's been around for how long? Like there's so much at their disposal.
But now I know what to expect out of. I shouldn't have like if I see Illumination up there, just know what to expect. I don't know why I thought maybe this will be different because it's Mario. Like it. I just should go in knowing what to expect now, basically. For future
I feel like it's
Mario.
also safe to say that this is probably not as good as the 1993 live-action Mario 2.
It's
I feel like everybody unanimously loves that movie.
We should ask John Leguizamo what he thinks. Yeah.
Just like
We did it first, man.
Mortal
We're the best.
Kombat that came out a couple years is not even close to the 1990 whatever Mortal
Dude, the
Mortal
music
Kombat.
in that movie.
Dude, the 90s Mortal
slaps.
Kombat movie was aces. All right. I'll die on it. It's such a good movie.
Kato.
I love 95. I'm
Liu
so pretty
Kang.
Hey,
Great.
$70
Johnny
sunglasses,
Cage.
asshole, or whatever he says to.
Yeah. No, I love that scene. Yeah. I think that movie's great. I don't know.
Movie's got so many great singers.
I don't know what to tell everybody. I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah,
Goro
I think
looked
those movies
amazing.
I think
Goro looked
specifically
great.
Mortal
Practical.
Kombat's awesome.
Oh my god.
You gotta love a Mortal Kombat
He
movie
punches
that
him in
has
the
like
balls.
no
There was
fatality.
somebody mentioned one of my friends actually mentioned that the Mario movie is so inoffensive that it's impossible to hate, and it's true. Even for like the most, and I mean audience members, even for like the most curmudgeon-y audience member like me, you still come away going, yeah, this sequence was great and this was great and the visuals were great, like, and it's like a wholesome movie. It's impossible to be
It's
like
just a fun movie.
even all the Illumination, like the ones that you mentioned, Tim, I don't feel that strongly about them. Like Secret Life of Pets, I've seen that. There were a couple others you mentioned that I've seen. I didn't hate any of them. I was just kind of like, they're wholesome.
okay.
It's impossible to hate.
You know what? You're
So-
right. Like overall, the storylines of those are forgettable. Whereas most of the Pixar movies I see, I could go back and tell you the stories of most of the ones that clicked with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's something special, and I think it's rare to find an animated like family movie that hits me as an adult and where I am in my life right now.
And
Really hard.
And it feels like DreamWorks is almost there because Puss in Boots' Last Wish was like
That's great.
something
We did watch
totally
that
different for them. Oh, you did just watch that. That's
crap.
right. I forgot about
Holy
that.
crap.
I haven't
movie's-
finished that yet.
That movie's so stupid good.
The visuals of that are like,
Yeah.
it's I don't
Just
even.
keep doing that. Just do Shrek 5, but with that. Just do
Oh
that.
my!
Puss in Boots is amazing.
Could you imagine?
Derek, I know it's getting late and you got to head out, so feel free to sign off if you need to. We'll talk about a few other things we're watching as well. So let's jump right over to Air while we're talking about
Good night, guys.
Mario. See you, Derek.
See you, Derek.
Mario can jump, so can Michael Jordan. Talk about Air.
God damn
Let me
it.
tell you something, guys. This is actually a documentary about the element of air. I was in the
Oh,
wrong
that's what
theater.
it was. Oh, it
Yeah.
was a scientific documentary.
I'm actually,
Yeah,
I'm
it
more
was-
interested now. Actually,
It was Neil deGrasse Tyson up there going, here's the thing with air. What you got to do about air? Okay.
You're describing a way cooler thing to me right now. You're describing a
Nice
way
clapping
cooler
there,
thing.
Dan.
Properties of air. What you got to know about air? I don't know why I'm so cocaine.
You know what he does when he's about to say something interesting? He's like, no, okay, now watch.
No. Here, okay, hold on. So the universe being gay, right? Okay, so here we go.
Yes, tell me
He was
more.
on Theo
Tell me more.
Vaughn, and Theo was like, "Is the universe gay? Is it gay, dude?" It's just
Oh
out of
my God.
nowhere.
I don't know how he got so famous, but I'm happy.
I know.
He
He just,
Dude,
he
have-
just lets his he just lets his internal thoughts
Have
just come
Theo
out.
Vaughn
like-
and Harlan Williams ever done a podcast together? Because I don't think they would talk about anything. I
no,
think they
that would just be a circular, chaotic
it'd be
conversation.
insane.
Just this
Anyway,
tornado.
Spiraling, but not in the same way. You know.
So-
It'd be insane.
So air
Like when
is
Harlan
a,
Williams made Bill Burr read him a bedtime story and they had to like play act it, and he had
Oh
to be
my
the
God.
kid who didn't want Bill
I'll
Burr
have
to
to look
offend
this
him.
up.
And every time Bill Burr would say a bad word, Harlan was like, "No, Daddy, don't say that." Like he did it for like 20
Shut
minutes.
up, kid.
I was laughing
I'll have to
so
check this
hard.
out.
Is that on
sounds
YouTube like a
awesome.
podcast? Or
I think it's on
something?
YouTube. It's
I got it.
Harlan
Okay.
Williams
I'll have
and
to
Bill
check
Burr.
No, this
I
dude
need-
is
I
not
need
on my.
to-
I mean, I know who he is
Yeah.
because that classic Rocket Man, obviously.
I need to.
I
hear
just
this.
didn't. I did. I
And Dumb and
haven't seen
Dumber.
the
He's the cop in
podcast.
Dumb and Dumber, right? Who drinks.
He's
Drinking
in
the
How
Peach.
High, not How High. The Weed movie with Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
Yes.
Half baked. Half
not
baked.
Half
Screwed.
Baked, yeah.
Half-Baked.
He's a big part in Half Baked. Yeah.
F you, you're cool. I'm out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Air is about
Air.
the creation of the Air Jordan shoe and how it was technically like one of the biggest swings that Nike had ever done because they were like 3rd or 4th place in the rankings of sales for basketball.
Reebok and Adidas were killing them, right?
Adidas, I don't even think they mentioned Reebok, but they should have been mentioned. Converse was the biggest one.
Converse,
actually
that's
at
right.
the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this was like in the 80s or something.
Yeah.
So like you had all the big hitters at the time, Larry Bird, all those people, Magic Johnson, George Johnson, whatever. They were all wearing Converse. So like that was like the
birds fly in the air.
So Nike was like
learning
every single time that they had like an opportunity to do an NBA thing, they wouldn't have the budget because they're at this place where like they can't afford to take these big risks because they're 3rd or 4th in the rankings. They're not making as much. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, you have to take a risk or you can't, net any success. Anyway, that's the interesting part of the drama behind it. This is definitely it's a dad movie all the way through. Like I was sitting next to a dad who brought his kids. And his kids were just like, one of them was a super basketball nerd, so he was really into it. But the one next to him was just like, oh, where's Mario? Like he was just like so bored. But the dad was so jazzed about everything going on in the movie. Like it's great. It's a great time capsule movie. Tetris and this just completely nail the 80s vibe totally.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Air does it even more because the opening of the movie is just like a reel of all these 80s pop culture moments. And they lean heavily into that throughout the movie of like, here's what was going on in the world at the time of, this happening or whatever. But like the biggest gamble for them was the fact that Michael Jordan is a rookie. He hasn't been drafted yet. And they're like, let's build a shoe around him. Why not? And you know what? Let's spend all of our budget on him, like the entire budget. Instead of their budget on 3 players that might be drafted, just their budget on 1 player who was not proven. Like it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the movie does this like dramatically because, of course, in the recent documentary, The Last Dance, you get to hear the Jordan family's side of it with going to Nike. Like Jordan didn't want to go there. Like he didn't want to.
Yeah, that's how they play it
meeting.
too. They never show the actor's face because I think they cast somebody that's too old for Michael Jordan.
Okay.
So they basically just cast a body double to kind of look away from the camera, which is fair. I've heard Affleck's reasoning on it, and he was a director and the co-writer with Matt Damon. And Affleck said there's a disconnect. If you see somebody playing Michael Jordan, you're going to immediately go, that's not Michael Jordan.
That's not Michael Jordan.
And you're going to focus on that,
Well,
so
especially because it's about him, but really it's more
it's
about
not.
the shoe.
It's like tangibly about him. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like him being there is
like
more of a
he's the
moment
central
that you don't need to play
figure,
out.
but I
but really his parents are like the ones that are like his managers, and he has an agent that filters all their meetings and stuff. So he's just like not saying anything. He's just looking around the office. He doesn't want to be there.
He didn't want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not dramatically inert because you already know what the result is, and it's the most successful shoe on the planet. It's I don't know. I don't know if you knew that. But it netted them like millions and millions and millions.
Wait, so you're saying
dollars.
Skechers not above?
I know. What about the ones with like the glows that go around it?
Those are good ones.
But what they
what about
did
the ones that you pump up the air?
Yeah.
Those were pump Jordans. No, I don't know what those were. I had those though.
Pumps.
But the thing,
there's no way that did anything.
The thing that they didn't at all.
It made me jump higher.
They built the whole gimmick into a shoe.
Kyle, it made me jump higher. I swear.
It was just a little stress ball in there.
I don't mean to be the Santa Claus killer here, but that's
it. Even
true.
made a noise. It was like, and you were like, it's not doing anything. What does it sound there for?
Yeah.
So the reason that the movie is able to like move along really well is because there's so much humor. This movie is so freaking funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna laugh so hard at some of the jokes, like especially with Matt Damon when he interacts with the agent played by Chris Messina. He is Michael Jordan's agent. They're just such dicks to each other, and it's so funny. It's so freaking funny. And Ben Affleck as like the eccentric CEO with the curly hair and the bare feet. If you look up an actual picture of him, like,
windbreaker. Is he wearing a windbreaker, or is that
he's
just
wearing windbreakers? He's wearing really funny running gear that they make fun of earlier in the movie. So when you see it on screen later, you're like, oh, that's what they're referring to. It's the ridiculous running gear, running shoes or shorts or whatever from the 80s. It's really good, man. I shouldn't have said so much about it. I wanted to kind of save it for current cinema, but It's just so good. I had to gush about
Yeah,
it.
I gotta check that movie out when it's available to watch.
Yeah,
It
you'll
looks
like
a
it a
good
lot.
one.
They're kind of
Now,
always
well-
hits for me.
It's
they're
kinda
a good
got, like-
duo, so
It's kind of got a Return to the King syndrome with its endings, where I'm like, all right, he signed. Can we wrap it up? Like,
Cut to another hug. Cut to
Yes.
another hug.
lots
cut
of
to
losing
another
on
board,
everybody. I'm
cut to
losing
another
on everybody here.
sales floor scene where they're all like pointing at each other. and
I
hugging
played it
each other.
cool during the 2016 bracket. I'm not going to sit here and let y'all besmirch Lord of the
I
Rings.
played it cool. Not Lord of the Rings. Don't you
Yeah,
dare.
Don't
yeah,
you
how
Don't
dare
you
you?
dare.
Return of the King is all endings. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
what it is.
Wouldn't
yeah.
that be funny if it
It's
started?
one
It was
giant
just all
interact,
endings?
yeah.
endings.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Listen, I'm a 36-year-old man, and I was rewatching that movie. I've watched it before, and I was tearing up. I was like, God damn it, this is still.
Dude, I watch that
kills
movie
me every
every year,
time.
and I cry almost
You bow
the
to no
entirety of that
man
last
is
45
what
minutes.
is every time. Every time
Yeah.
you bow to no man.
Yeah,
like,
that
immediately.
it's then and the rest of the movie I can't.
And when
handle
Sam
it.
picks
Yeah.
him up, and he's like, "We got this," he's carrying him up. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same speech.
Well,
in the
we've
first
got
two chapters.
there's a few
Yeah.
other things that I know Jeff and I are going to talk about real quick that we've watched. But before we do that, Kyle or Dan, anything watching wise that you wanted to just?
I watched. I forget where it's at, but the new Louis C.K. just dropped a new comedy special.
At the Dolby.
What the hell was it? Yeah, that's what it. At the Dolby.
It's in LA.
Which,
yeah.
which Jeff was saying there was like a live stream where he did some of that material.
He said I watched all of his. He did a bunch of podcasts when he was promoting
Okay.
it, and basically he was like, I'm going to Madison Square Garden and I'm going to live stream it once, and it's going to be up for a few weeks, and I'm going to take it down. So that's why you can't buy it anymore. It's not up there anymore. But it is like 75% of the same material, but it's just comedians have to tell it differently for themselves too. They don't want to be bored by their material.
Yeah.
So he's adding a lot of things in between jokes that were not there in the Madison Square Garden one.
Which is just a real professional move right there, because I mean,
he's
just like on the cuff, like creating like and ching things like that, and just
he's a master.
He has a stain on his shirt the whole special. He references like 45 minutes into the special. He's like, I got a stain on my shirt. What am I gonna do? Change the way I live my life? Like he's like,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do
I'm
that.
not gonna do that.
I'm however many years old. I'm not gonna do that.
Kyle, I think you're right. I think he kind of is pioneering this. Like, I'm gonna release this myself on my own
He
website.
has been,
Yeah, he has for years. Yeah.
He has been,
everyone
and
does it this way.
there's been a slew of YouTube specials coming up since COVID, and I feel like comedians are like, you know what? That's the best exposure now.
YouTube
even if it's
grabbed onto
free,
something.
even if it's free, you can go
Sells
viral on
tickets.
TikTok, you can go viral on Twitter, you can go
And it
viral
sells
everywhere.
tickets.
Exactly.
You put your YouTube special out, especially if it's material you don't use as much anymore. If you've got new stuff you're coming up with, and then you put your tour dates up there, and your tickets start to sell.
It's so smart.
Yeah.
Sam Morrill did it. He nailed it, and it made me buy tickets. And then Shane Gillis did it, and I was like, gotta buy tickets to him. Kyle Kinane just did it, and his special is like off the charts funny. It is unbelievably funny.
Yeah.
I gotta send you guys it's on YouTube.
He's actually
like him.
So I watched that special after you recommended it. It's very funny. He actually reminds me. Sometimes his delivery is a little Louis C.K. like they have some similarities.
Yes.
If you like Louis C.K.
It's the delivery and the fact that what he's saying is so wrong and unexpected. Like in the comparison, the metaphors that he makes in comparisons are like so he's not right. He's like not right in the head. It's so funny.
We're not supposed to like Louis C.K. anymore.
Yeah.
But
he's not funny anymore. Shane Gillis was canceled too.
Well, no, he's still funny, but we canceled him, right? So, but yeah, no, it was hilarious. It was fantastic. It was really
Jesus
good.
stuff was so good.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, man.
I was thinking of because Tim and
fig?
Derek, you guys are religious, so and just those little bits were like, oh, I wonder what they think of this. I wonder what they think.
Why is there never a fat Jesus just up there with 10 nails and
That was really good.
That'll be unique because I've never heard a comedian make fun of Christianity before, so I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
That's a totally new bit.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Just really brace yourself for it. Really brace yourself for it.
He's already braced. He's got a thing. He's good.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, I'm braced. I'm good.
But I actually went down the rabbit hole. I went back and watched a couple of his older ones. I think it was
awesome,
hilarious, and then Chewed Up. I watched.
Those are the best ones to me. Chewed Up, especially. Yeah.
But I don't know if it's in one of those, but like it's almost like
hilarious.
It's been cut out from the what I watched or something. But there was a joke one that I caught at one time, and I cannot find it for the life of me, where he's talking about his kids, and he's talking about the younger one or whatever, and she's like, I don't know, she's like coming at him or something, and he's just like, I don't even give a shit. He's just like pretending to like punch down at his child, like he's just like fighting a small kid, and like I can't find that joke. I'm like searching for it because it's just
he does a version of that in the new special too, where he talks about a 3-year-old, something like that, and he's like, just imagine it, okay? I'm not saying do it, I'm saying it, and then he keeps doing it, and I'm like,
he also does that. He also does that thing, that recurring thing where he talks about effing like a dead kid or something like that. It's just like, exactly. Jesus Christ, guy! Like, oh my god!
Remember the bit where he's like, you can't say things and clear your throat in the middle of them. You know, like the whole bit was great. We have to stop Jewish people from being discriminated against. Like. That felt like really an old '90s bit, honestly. Like it felt.
Yeah, it's really good though. Really good.
It's really good.
Kyle, anything you're watching or have watched recently that you want to shout out?
Y'all probably talked about it a little last week, so I won't talk about it too much. But I saw the Tetris movie too, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really good. I wish more movies would tell really comical versions of like history, even though I know a lot of that movie was true. Just the way that they play it is like so over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
it is. Yeah.
There's a whole bit where like he's playing a Game Boy for the first time and like just starts crying. And it's so funny to me.
That's awesome.
Because no one, like, if you think about it, no one had ever seen anything like that ever before.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So like maybe people did cry in that room. I don't know, but just the way that it's played, like it's
kind of played for laughs. You know? Yeah.
So I really like that.
And the Russians being comically over serious until they start to warm up to him. Like, I know that's like stereotypical in movies and from Hollywood now, but it still plays to me. It still makes me laugh, especially with like everything that's going on. You know.
Yeah.
And so video game movies, adaptations, and movies about video games doing well at the moment.
Yeah,
at the moment,
yeah.
There's a market cornered now.
Yeah.
We did it, guys. Did it.
I think the only other thing I'm watching is something that Jeff was watching too, and a show called Beef on Netflix.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh my god, go watch this show, guys.
Yeah,
I
finished it on like a sitting and a half, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
30-minute
series,
episodes.
Right?
They're pretty quick. Yeah, it's like 10 episodes, 30 minutes. You know, like it's good. I liked it a lot. It's very dark.
It's nutty.
Dark comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Barry. This is definitely one of those dark comedies where you're like, I can't believe they did that, but it's like kind of funny that they did it. Like,
subject matter's dark. The jokes are dark. You know, the cut to music, you know, is
oh my gosh,
is super great. You know?
They do it at the end of every episode. They have like a needle drop that you're like, what the hell is that? Like,
just a goofy song.
Like the first episode ends with Hoobastank, give me a not give me a reason.
Oh my god.
Found a reason for
the reason.
And you're like, and when I tell you that, you're like, why? And when you see
actually
why,
makes
you're like, that's
sense,
hilarious.
Like in the moment. But it's dumb. I love it. I think it's really great. Stephen Yeun from the one with the zombies.
Walking Dead.
Nope.
He's great. And Nope,
Dead,
he's amazing. And like this, like, man, he's amazing in this. Ali Wong even holds her own in this, where I believe everybody is the asshole that they're presenting themselves to be.
Right, exactly.
Show.
It's so convincing.
Because like you're not cheering. Everybody in this show is like deplorable in some way.
Yeah.
Even the guy who's like really nice, like the husband. You're like, God, this guy's too soft. Like he needs to. Like,
and they keep mentioning him being Japanese, like it's a negative. Like this guy's Japanese, a Korean with a Japanese person. What's going on with that? And I love. Was it? No, it wasn't. It wasn't Stephen Yeun's brother, but it was like the guy with the long hair. I think it was in the final episode where he finally meets that white
Isaac,
lady.
the cousin.
I think so. He, the guy who went to prison or whatever.
Yeah.
So he like, he does so many funny throwaway lines where like he's leaving a church with Stephen Yeun and he's like, man, that was effing great. He's like, dude, we just walked out of the church. Can you stop cussing? Like, there's so many funny throwaway lines with him. And like, he makes a comment about the crazy white lady from the blonde lady or whatever. It's like, why do you hang out with her? You're Asian. It's so funny.
And like the pitches is like these two people, Ali Wong and Stephen Yeun, they get into like a road rage incident where like someone honks at somebody, the other person overreacts, they both start overreacting to each other. Yeah. And it just leads into this like, I'm gonna burn their life down type of reaction. Both of them have it to each other, and like you're just watching 10 episodes of them just like completely tormenting each other and like very unhinged, unhealthy ways, and it's fun.
Yeah, and it's not just like they spend a lot of time away from each other, don't get me wrong, but like you also get to see how that interaction impacts their life and the people around them,
Yeah.
and what led to that moment. Like you're
Yeah,
kind of
you
seeing
see, they
why were they
flash back
so
to see their
angry?
childhoods. Like,
Yeah,
why did they act
exactly.
this way? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a character piece, you know. For
Because
sure,
there's always
but, like,
more going on whenever it comes to anger, rage moments like that. Like, it's not just, oh, that person cut me off. There's something else leading to it,
Yeah, Netflix did a good one. They'll probably
Yeah,
cancel it,
it's-
so-
And you said beef. It reminded me of that old Tom Segura bit where he talks about the strip joint named Beef. Anyway, it's a really funny
Oh
bit.
my
You should-
God.
That's a good.
He's like, you have to work your way up to beef. All right. So anyway,
Jeez. Goddamn.
That is so
Uh,
bad. I love it.
I did finish Peaky Blinders. Highly
Peaky Blinders.
highly recommend. It's only 6 episodes per season, and there's 6 seasons, so it's not they are like 50 minutes each, and the last one's like an hour and 20 minutes.
I think
It's really good. I thought that
I
there was a clear shift when it moved over to Netflix. You can tell this with most shows when they start somewhere else and then Netflix picks them up for the last few seasons. You can
It
tell.
was a BBC show for first
and
2
it's-
seasons or something. Yeah.
And it's not a bad shift. It's just definitely different, tonally and just kind of
You can tell.
pacing wise. I could just tell like this feels different, but I still am enjoying it, and I still thought it was very good. And the last season especially is very slow burn, like so many like political conversations. It's just kind of like it becomes much more of a cut to another scene where 2 characters are talking, cut to another scene, and then so like at first I was like, is this just a political season after all these like Sopranos level, Breaking Bad level like excitement and these big payoffs? But thankfully the final season has an excellent final episode, and even episode before it has some cool stuff. But like I feel like that last season I wasn't sold on. I was like, I don't know if I like the way this is wrapping up. Turns out loved the final episode a
Nice.
lot.
Oh wow! So you love the finale? Like,
I did.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I thought the finale was
'Cause I
great.
think I felt a little unfulfilled, unsatisfied by the way it ended. But I think it's because they intend on doing more in the form of like a movie or something.
Yeah.
Which makes
So
sense. When you
I thought it was good.
wrap it up, you'll see like, oh,
I think
totally
it's just
doing more.
because I was surprised at the end. I thought I kind of had predicted completely what was going to happen because it was going honestly
thought
so
I did too.
slowly, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, just get us there. I know what's going to happen to all the characters. Just get me to the place where they're all going to be. It's pretty obvious, and then it wasn't. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
I think the main reason that it was a little slower is because it was a struggle for them to write without the mom who passed away for real.
They rewrote a bunch apparently because
yeah,
had
they
shot
had to
some of that. I think
I don't even think they started shooting yet.
they hadn't shot yet. Okay, they had just written.
So
it.
they might have just like used
Okay,
shot
yeah.
footage or whatever,
Yeah,
or like
that
shot
was
footage from before.
Sad turn.
But like they had to rewrite so much stuff around that.
Oh, that's a
Still an excellent show, start to finish. Highly
very
recommend.
much so. Yeah.
And then I watched another Netflix thing. It was that movie, The Power of the Dog, from a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, it was like a Best Picture contender, like a serious one before Coda won. Yeah.
Yeah, if you like, again, speaking of slow burn, slow moving, very kind of almost depressing westerns.
A little too slow for me, honestly. Yeah.
This is in that vein. It's not my favorite type of western, but it does
Mm-hmm.
have some really cool scenes and some great performances. It's just not necessarily my personal favorite,
Yeah.
but it's interesting.
You
I
can see
understand why
why
people like
a
that.
crowd pleaser like Coda, which I do highly recommend on Apple, whatever it's called,
Why it
Apple
would
TV.
win over this one.
Yeah, because it's a crowd pleaser and it's a feel good movie, and Power of the Dog is like
It's the opposite of that.
It's too slow of a burn.
It's not a crowd pleaser,
and it's very depressing.
very
like,
depressing. Yes.
Yeah, but it is good. But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't. It's very much a character.
I just
piece
love a
of-
good western, I just love
Yeah.
a good. So, and this is one of those. It's just
And
a very
Benedict
sad.
Cumberbatch being like a dick cowboy fake alpha is very. It's it's good to watch. Like I mean, he's great in his performance. There's a reason he got nominated for like awards for that and stuff.
This is a movie that really embraces subtlety. They don't really come out at any point and tell you any character's motivations. You just see it. You don't understand exactly why
Yeah.
everything's happening. You just kind of have to piece it together.
Yeah,
So
I had
it's-
to wiki
one
some
of those.
parts honestly after I finished
It's a little bit
because
like,
I was like, wait, what happened? What did I miss
Huh?
here?
Yeah.
Was that implied to be an actual thing that a character did, or
Yeah.
was it an accident? I'm so confused.
No, it was a thing.
But it was deliberate. Yeah, it was
It's
something
deliberate.
deliberate happened. So yeah, that you have to just watch like
Stay
Clockwork
awake. Yeah, stay awake because it's a little slow.
The score is great, by the way.
Stay
too.
woke.
Stay.
Stay woke.
Please do, guys.
Literally
If-
stay as
If
in
there's
awake.
one message we're trying to get across in this podcast.
Stay awake.
All right, let's talk about things we're playing before we wrap this thing up. I think someone else also finished Resident Evil 4. I finished the Resident Evil 4 remake this week. Dan, what'd you think
did.
about it?
Yeah, I finished it this weekend. A lot of that stuff towards the end I did not remember. So this has been an interesting replay of this one because like I'm the most familiar with 2.
Okay.
So like Remake wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of that I was like, oh, this is like whatever. And then 3, they cut some stuff, so like that's a whole thing. But this game, like I played multiple times, like when it came out, and then I think I had mentioned last week, like I don't know, like 3 years ago or something, I started to replay it, but then something new came out, so then I stopped. So yeah, a lot of the later portions of this game were kind of almost like new to me. I was like, I don't remember a lot of this. I know that you leave like that whole foresty area, you know, the villagey type of area. I know that you leave that, but I wasn't remembering a lot of it.
Like
But
the castle? You didn't remember the castle?
no, I remember the castle.
Okay.
I think it's more the third area that I
Okay.
just, a lot of that was like not in my brain. It was
That
just
stuff's foggy for me too. And I'm
less-
about to get there.
yeah, less familiar. I definitely remember the castle, but the village, like the first main area, is definitely what I remember the most.
Same here, because I think I started this game more than once to replay it and never actually fully replayed
Yeah,
it. So that,
yeah,
that
yeah,
I
part's
remember
kinda-
playing the beginning of this game
Yeah.
many times.
So many times, yeah. But yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. Again, I mean, we haven't said anything that I can't really say anything that we haven't already said, like just about the gameplay and I like the portrayal, because again, the fourth one is really goofy, like Sadler and what's his face, the little guy. Why can't I remember his name?
Ramon.
Ramon, yeah, it's super goofy in the original, super goofy. And in this one, like there's a little bit of that, right? But that's what I've been enjoying about these remakes. It's like there's still sort of like that spirit of that cheese there, but it is more serious
now.
than cheese.
Like they're more creepy and serious now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, especially Sadler. Like his head is super gross, like very, very gross. So I really like this tone and that they're remaking these. I am very curious with 5 how that's gonna go.
Do you think they're gonna do 5? Do you think they?
I don't freaking know. I mean,
and I know they said they won't do Code Veronica, which is the one I want them to do.
but did they say they won't do it, or they're not going to do it next? Like, because
I don't know. I'd have to look up the wordage.
It's like, I'm sorry,
it felt
but
like won't. Like,
I
we're
want
not.
Code Veronica. Like, I want a Code Veronica. Like that one's
Same,
great.
yeah.
Like
that one's great. Yeah, I don't know why it's like forgotten. Like it's the.
But yeah, 5. If they do 5, we'll see what happens with that. I know.
And I like 5. I played that game multiple times. Like with a co-op partner.
I platinumed that one.
Yeah, I think you got to give Capcom a lot of credit. Not only are they just absolutely crushing these remakes, they're just absolutely killing them. But they give you and we talked about this already, but they give you so many great reasons to go back and replay. You get so much to unlock, lots of achievements or trophies to get depending on where you're playing. But even
Mercenaries is about to drop for free here soon.
Mercenaries, it was about to drop. Yep. And
right?
And that's part of our news too. I think it's coming next week.
Oh, is it next week? I thought it was out already. No?
It might be out already. Oh yeah, it is out already. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just came out this week. But anyway, yeah, I'm with you. It's excellent. I thought the boss fights were a lot of fun. There are certainly whole chunks of the game that I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember this. I think I don't. Maybe this is totally different than I remember.
Yeah,
but it's been ages since I played that game start to finish.
Yes.
So whatever. Sometimes a big writhing monster is a big writhing monster, and I don't remember the details around it. You know what I mean? Like you just shoot at the weak spot.
Yeah.
So, but I really had fun with it. It certainly is challenging. But
this is the most challenging out of the 4, or out of the 3 rather remakes.
The 3 remakes
so far. So far, it's definitely the most challenging.
I got held up a lot in 2's puzzles, like especially the sewer. Like I was just like, I have to look up an answer for this.
Sure.
Whereas like the puzzles in 4, like they're like non-exist. They're put the thing where you think it's supposed to go. That's
sure.
The puzzle.
There's a specific boss encounter towards the end of RE4. It's not the final boss. It might be the second to last boss, but anyway, it's more of a hand-to-hand combat type of final boss encounter. A couple different sections in a row, and I just thought that part was so cinematic and well done. Like as you do the correct kind of parrying and then melee attacks.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder of like Leon's indestructible, dude. Like, okay, he can be destroyed if you're bad, and I'm bad sometimes with the game and get killed.
Sure.
But but for the most part, if you do what you're supposed to do, what Leon can do, like he could roundhouse kick a monster in the face and kill it. Like
he literally snaps necks. Like you can kick one of these infected individuals, and apparently their neck has just snapped and they're just on the ground. Like
they just added some great flashiness to it. It's so fun, and I had a blast with it. I really loved RE4. So
yeah, it's a good time. I still like 2. I still like 2 the most though. I do still like 2 the most for me personally. But this one is
Raccoon City. That whole like set piece is like tops for me in terms
Yeah,
of.
Well,
Like,
I've got it
yeah.
installed on Steam, so I'm gonna give that one another try
Yeah.
because I don't have the nostalgia where I'm like, ooh, let me see how they
Right.
remade one of my favorites. I don't have that
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
guys do.
exactly.
But I did have that with 4, so I'll
Right,
see if I can
exactly. Yeah,
get
because
back through too.
Resident Evil 2 was the first PlayStation 1 game I owned and played.
I
So,
totally
I
get
like
it.
2 a lot. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Totally get it.
Good memories.
Really good.
Yes.
I tried a game that came out on PlayStation Plus this week called Meet Your Maker. I don't know if you guys tried this
Well, I'm
one.
glad you tried that because I was not feeling like trying that one, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I played it for about an
No.
hour. It's interesting. I think it's got some cool visuals. It's a first-person game with lots of like fast-moving. You have a melee weapon and a very limited ammo, at least at the beginning, gun. I'm assuming you can upgrade. There's lots of upgrades you can do in this game. So basically, you go do a run, and it walks you through it at first. You're trying to get this core and then escape from some kind of structure that's been built. And at the beginning, there's all these pre-made structures already. It's trying to teach you the game, right? And then they have these things that you invade, go get this core resource, and then escape with your life. It's almost one hit, one kill, not quite. Like I think you can survive a little bit getting hit, but when you're dead, you have to redo the run. It's meant to be very quick. But some of these structures I found to be, especially right at the beginning, I was like, this is way tougher than it should be as you're teaching me the game. Like I died like 4 times in a row playing what I thought was pretty well, and I was like, dang, this is a little annoying.
Wow.
So I feel like it's a little bit imbalanced, at least towards people like myself who aren't really into this kind of first person melee, fast runs. That's just not my thing, but I thought I'd give it a whirl. But the core concept is very cool. You eventually build up enough resources to purchase your own spot of land, and then you can start building your own structure to get other players to come invade, and you want to try to fine tune it so it's as difficult as possible, but also doable. Like I guess you can't make it impossible, right? You have to make it possible for players to finish. So anyway, I understand it. It's got like a super violent first-person take on Mario Maker, just minus all the fun.
So I want to ask Tim, how does the game feel like mechanically?
It's a very floaty first-person shooter. Like
Okay.
There's a grapple system that I think is pretty cool. You can grapple into almost any wall, which is neat. And so you can fling yourself towards enemies, especially ones that are shooting you from a distance. So I do like that. But yeah, I just don't like melee combat from a first-person perspective in most cases. There are some exceptions, but I just have never really enjoyed that. I feel like it's just a little. There's something about the hit detection that's a little off. I don't know what it is. It's just never been my.
So like so it doesn't like feel like it doesn't feel smooth, or it doesn't like look like it animates.
It's smooth.
Smoothly?
It's smooth enough. It does fine.
Okay.
I would say it's on par with with some of your other first-person shooters that you've played, like Far Cry and stuff like that. Like it's on par with some of those.
So I'm basically leading you to an end here. Do you know who made this game?
No.
Behavior. Do you know what Behavior is made?
Why does that
Dead
sound
by
familiar?
Daylight. Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm asking these questions, because, and to be fair, this is a newer game, obviously made on a newer engine, I'm guessing, not on the same engine as Dead by Daylight. So the reason I'm asking all that is because I don't really play Dead by Daylight that much anymore. My wife actually still plays it pretty consistently. But what's funny is she'll be out there and I'm hearing her being just full of rage because that game is so effing annoying with how imbalanced it can be, because I don't know. And I don't know if it's because the team is too small. They've and they've just created this whole thing with Dead by Daylight that's it's too big for their britches now, where they can't handle everything. But it's just a kind of a broken game, to be honest. It's just kind of broken. It's just I don't think it's balanced very well. Unless you're playing custom matches with friends and then you're just goofing around and it's fine. But when you're playing with randos, it's very hit or miss. Yeah. But again, it's like a 6-year-old game, so it feels like a 6-year-old game.
I got you. Yeah.
But it's just such a great concept. It's a shame that they haven't maybe made a sequel or maybe moved it over to a new engine and try to kind of, I don't know. But it's just interesting to see them make something like this, because she told me that she's like, oh, it's Behavior. I was like, oh, is it? Okay, that's interesting. So I was just wondering what the quality of how the game felt,
I think it feels fine. I just
the
gameplay loop itself is not that appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Of just invading these spots where it's honestly one of those you got to learn by dying, And there
Yeah.
are some times when I'm in the mood for that, but not always. And in this
Right.
case, I'm not. It's like as you go through a level, there could be spikes that'll instant kill you that you literally cannot see until they kill you. Okay, now on this run, I know they're there, so now I can avoid them. It's just like I don't
Sure.
want to do this over and over.
Yeah.
Not unless it
no.
was like a speedrun specific game where, which this doesn't sound completely like that, but like Neon White, where you're like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
oh, that thing killed me. Well, now I know it's there, and these runs are like 45 seconds
Correct.
Sure.
or shorter. You know,
Right. Yeah.
it sounds a little more involved.
Yeah, and it also just feels very random because it's going to be created by other players, whereas Neon White, everything was specifically designed. Here's
Yeah.
these created,
Oh
yeah.
yes,
developed
Yeah.
levels, and this is player created. So anyway, I don't hate on it. I don't think it's horrible. It's just not for me. I think it's worth a shot if you like first-person, fast-paced action games and want to build levels. Go give it a whirl. It's free on PlayStation Plus if you've got it. So go give that a try. Did anyone play Everspace 2? That just came out.
I have the demo. There's a free demo on Steam, everybody. But I have that, and I know it just left. It's been in early access for I don't know how long, but it's been there, and it just left early access this week.
Okay.
And apparently,
I'm
it's,
to get it at some point. I think
apparently
it
it's
sounds
great,
awesome.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It does
and
sound
it's,
cool.
It's a spaceship shooter type thing where you're only flying around in space, but there's RPG elements and roguelite
It's like
elements
open
that,
world and stuff. So
Yeah, exactly. It's open world. You're like upgrading stuff. You're building colonies and stuff. Like you're doing a lot in the game. It's more than just shooting at enemies, which I understand feels great.
Interesting.
This game does look cool. I was curious.
Yeah.
If I tried it out. Okay.
I really want to try it.
I played a little bit of this game called Above Snakes Prologue. It's very much a
Above Snakes.
survival
Above
game. So
What a name.
Above
got-
Snakes.
it's got a pretty, at this point it feels like it's a I've seen it before art style.
Sure.
But it's still charming enough. The idea of it is that it's set in the Old West and everything's gone wrong and there's like a bunch of zombies apparently, although I've only seen like one or two. But it's overall, even with
So
the
it's like the
zombie,
Last of Us TV show. Gotcha.
even with the zombie thing, it's pretty peaceful so far. The prologue at least is. And it's a map that is like this big grid, and you start on kind of like this cube, so you can only go as far as that square is. And as you explore and gather resources, you fill up a little meter that allows you to unlock a new piece, and then you can place it wherever you want, connecting to your piece. So you're growing the area around you on your map, and it will randomly generate stuff on that map as you expand out. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of like walking up to this resource and holding a button to collect it, so you can go back and craft something and then upgrade something and then add a new room to your house that you're building. So I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, it's that. And the prologue is free if you want to go give it a try. The full game comes out next month, I think. So
Nice.
I don't know why it's called Above Snakes. I didn't get that deep into the lore. I don't know why, but hey.
Because snakes are all underground in this game.
You're not below snakes.
What?
You know?
I don't. Yeah,
I
hear
will
you.
play a game called Space Snakes. That's what I would play. Give me a game about snakes in space.
And I know
know.
that there's a prequel out to Road 96 called Mile Zero. How's this?
Yeah, Road 96 is like a Telltale experience, but obviously it's budgeted, meaning the developer is a smaller studio, and it just looks and feels a little cheaper. Granted, you're doing more first-person walking around in Road 96 and interacting with things than you ever would have in a Telltale game, which is more linear. But the whole premise of the Road 96 world is corporations are now, it's very similar to Deus Ex, corporations are now government, and oil is the king of the resources at this point. And if you're not down with that, too bad. Like, you're going to become a worker bee under this country, or if you try to leave, you're going to die or get jailed.
Sure.
And you're following these
Straight to jail,
teenagers
right away.
and you're basically following these teenagers that are choosing to rebel in their own way. Most of them are choosing to leave. And in the main game, Road 96, if you get caught or killed, then you just take over another character. And that's the interesting part of it. And your choices do matter, much like a Telltale game. So Mile Zero is a prequel that focuses on two people, so there's no switching around.
Okay.
But it focuses on two people that I think are main. I didn't get far enough in the main game to know who they are. But one of them is like a daughter of a president or something. That's a big deal.
Why is there always a daughter's president in video games?
Of course. And she wants to rebel. Shut up, Dad. Why don't you go murder some people?
That's the whole plot to Night Agent on Netflix, just FYI.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh,
President's
awesome.
daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I'd rather watch that than play.
You
no, I'm
suck,
kidding.
Dad. Yeah.
Why don't you just
Resident Evil
F off,
4.
God.
And it's all about presidents and yeah, okay.
So
whatever.
if anybody listening, if you liked Road 96, Mile Zero is more of that. And actually, it starts with a there's like a kind of like a skateboarding sequence that it starts with where you kind of have to like collect things that increase your score and jump and duck. And that happens twice in the first hour of the game. And I'm like, oh, this is like kind of new. I don't remember this in the main game. So they're like adding mini games into this one.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's good. You know, it's good for the Telltale.
I've always wanted to play Road 96. It's been on my wish list forever. So.
Oh, nice. I mean, and they're
Never
not
grabbed it.
like super expensive games, and I think they go on sale quite frequently. So
They do. Yeah.
they're worth checking out for that. If you like that narrative adventure experience, for sure.
Okay.
Curse of the Sea Rats is one I played.
This looks cool,
came out.
but apparently isn't great.
Yeah.
The art style's great though.
You mentioned Meet Your Maker. You mentioned something about Meet Your Maker where you're like, I don't really feel like dying and figuring out how to do this over and over again. It's kind of the same thing with Curse of the Sea Rats because it is a Metroidvania type game.
Okay.
Where I encountered a boss very early in the game, and I just
that does look cool.
Yeah, it's like a hand-drawn art style where you play as rats or whatever, and it looks very like cartoonish and cinematic. Like it's such a great art style, but the combat is just a little too sluggish for me. And some people might adapt to that a little better, but for me, like I cannot get the parry down at all because like when you hit B to parry, he like takes a minute to do the animation, and I'm like I can't do this right, like because I can't time it right with each enemy hitting me different timing. Like it's actually kind of frustrating.
I gotta tell you, if you're interested in a game where you play as a rat on an adventure that's got some good combat, side-scrolling with some good art, try Tales of Iron.
Tales of Iron, yeah.
It's free on PS Plus, I think, right now.
It is. You're right. That just at PS Plus.
But that one actually does have very satisfying and learnable. Even though it is a difficult game, it's learnable combat. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
I just found like maybe the Tales of Iron combat is similar, where like it is a little sluggish, but you adapt and it's fine. Yeah. And I'm just impatient. Like I am an impatient gamer, so maybe I just dropped Sea Rats a little too soon. But I did get half an hour in, and I tried the first boss, whose name is Fatso, very on the nose. And he's very skinny. It's weird. No, he's not. He's huge.
Man. So opposite.
But his attacks are just like so freaking cheap and stupid, and it's impossible to parry. And I got him down to like half health at one point. But I think on the 5th time that I had to go to, I was like, I'm not in the mood. I'm just not in the mood. Even though there are upgrade systems in place similar to all Metroidvanias that we encounter nowadays. If you're going to play a recent, I've talked about this game before. If you're going to play a recent Metroidvania type indie game, that's a little like pixelated or whatever, play the 9 Years of Shadows. That one's just a little better and more well-rounded. It's just got a better combat system in my opinion.
That's fair. Yeah.
Ravenswatch hit early access. I did not play it because I saw reviews, but I did buy it. And apparently it's so early access to the point where they should have just done a free, kind of like the Above Snakes. They should have just done a free thing and been like, here's the game that we got now and we're working on it. Because it's one level and one boss, and they expect you to just do it over and over again. I'm like, why are you charging people for this? That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, that is messed up.
And apparently,
I actually see a lot of games on Steam, and maybe this has been around for a while, and I'm just noticing it. A lot of games will do a prologue. So it's essentially, it's kind of like a demo, but they're saying like, hey, here's an intro to the game. So you kind of feel like you're getting an early start.
They really should have done that for this one. It feels a little cheap to be like, it's early access, but there's only one level. And I explain what it is. It is a top-down kind of Diablo camera view, and the action is more like Hades. This is the same studio that did Curse of the Dead.
This is another one with a really cool art style, by the way. The art style looks awesome in this game.
Yeah, great art style. Yeah, Curse of the Dead Gods is a really solid game. I just wish this one had a little more meat on its bones.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe they'll add to it, right? All right. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I know it's getting late. Our 2016 ranking went long. Is everyone cool with me just flying through some headlines to wrap up?
Can I just throw out real quick? Because I don't know if you thought maybe that was Derek that wrote that down. I finished 3 parts of Octopath Traveler 2.
Okay.
Wow.
I finished 3 parts. Not I beat the game. Like Derek thinks he beat the game. I finished 3 parts.
Don't worry, he'll never listen.
3 of 8.
No, yeah. But yeah, it's holy crap. So I've done Ochet's, which I thought I was actually doing the second to last chapter because I actually did chapter 4 of Agni first, and I thought it was gonna be the end, and I was like, oh, chapter 5, what? Like, what's happening? Chapter 5, okay. So then I assumed this chapter 5 is for all of them, but then I beat Ochet's whole story with chapter 4, so I was like, all right, I don't know. I guess maybe some of them have an extra one, whatever.
Yeah, a couple do.
So Ochet, Agni, and I did Casti right before the we did the podcast,
Mhm.
and the
I
Cassie
like her
one.
story.
Holy crap! The end, like, or starting at chapter 3 is like when you kind of like get the revelations of like what's going on,
Awesome.
and it's like, oh my god, it's so dark.
Oh,
It's so
okay.
dark, and then that kind of pays off onto the 4th chapter.
Sweet.
But I did the Ochet's was fantastic. It's freaking epic as hell.
There's a crap ton of lore in her story.
Yeah.
Like, she's got a really cool reason for going out and trekking and stuff instead of just being like, I'm going to end poverty. Like, it's actually,
yeah.
There's a really cool reason,
which is commendable. I appreciate that. I
Don't make
appreciate
fun of my
what he's
boy
doing.
like
For.
that.
Yeah, I
You're
appreciate
funny,
what
I'm
he's going for.
sorry.
We actually need more people like that in real life, but
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's and then
he actually said verbatim, I'm going to buy Twitter, and then he left. Yeah.
yeah. There you go. Could you imagine?
Investment.
That's great though, man. So yeah, so you got 5 chapters.
So I got 5 left. Yeah.
What's your main again? Who's your
Ochet.
Ochet. Oh, so
now you can
okay.
swap her out of the party if you want to.
Nice.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm doing is like I have my main crew, and then when I'm gonna do the next chapter, I just like swap out one person for that person.
That's smart.
So it balances out because they're not as high leveled, but then I have everyone else compensating for their level being lower.
Yeah, I tried to do it with the 3 underleveled people and my main person being super high level, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would just get obliterated. So I got
because their HP is too low and the attacks are too high from the enemies. So
exactly.
Yeah, because that's what happened with Agni. It was recommending rather level 45, and she's like level 32. But the rest of my party is like 52, 53.
Oof.
So like it was a little bit of a challenge, but I did it in the one shot. So, but yeah, hers wasn't as
dancer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not as appealing as a story as
not as appealing, but I still liked it. I still liked sort of what was kind of going on there. She's kind of almost similar to Particio, where she's trying to be like, I'm gonna make everyone happy with dance, and it's like so like literally
right,
just
I guess
literally just the dance thing. It's like, all right, that's silly and cheesy, but like the spirit of it, I appreciate. I appreciate the spirit, and then like the people that she meets in her journey and how like that touches into like the final part there. Actually was really nice. Like I actually,
I'm glad they wrapped it up because I was concerned starting out with that story, honestly.
Yeah. So I liked that. Yeah, but definitely most of the other ones are like way more interesting. So
cool.
But yeah,
Nice.
I'm still having a really great time with it. So it's fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, I still haven't gone back to the first one since beating 5 of the stories. You're right, haven't finished the game yet. I've got 3 bosses left, but
I did that accidental thing
almost there.
that Derek talks about where like you get so far in a JRPG and then you go, I kind of want to try a different flavor of game right now. And then you forget about that game.
Yep.
So that's what's happening to me with Octopath. Yep. Like I'm in the Mafia 3 zone right now and I don't want to leave. I just love it so much.
Yeah, I'm full on back into Metroid Prime Remastered and loving it. Pretty far into that game now. So collecting the artifacts, fighting the pirates, it's a good time. It's a really good time.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here's some quick hits on some headlines, and we'll wrap things up. Remedy says that Quantum Break is off of Game Pass or leaving Game Pass, but it'll be back. So I think it's some licensing issues. You know, they have a weird situation where they filmed a show, and I wonder if it's connected with the licensing.
Maybe it's the Nissan. With the Nissan corporate synergy is just not. They don't have the contract
they
anymore.
could have
that first episode of that show, like there was all these car chases and stuff, and they kept showing that Nissan logo, like
so many Nissan logos. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah,
you got to get that money somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you got to get that Lance Reddick money.
That's how
I'm surprised that they didn't have Lance Reddick say like the Nissan. You have to get in the Nissan.
Get into my Nissan Altima real quick. Yeah. He's very specific about the name of the car.
Acceleration.
Have you guys ever seen the Laugh or Die Lance Reddick bit? Where it's like Toys R Me instead of Toys R Us.
Yeah,
I just saw that for the first time the other day. Holy shit, that is.
Put that in the chat. I want to see that.
Okay, it is effed. It is so effed.
It's like a Funny or Die old sketch where he's like.
He's so
young.
basically
like his character from The Wire, but it's about running a Toys R Us type of.
That's
awesome.
It's
ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's completely
effed. So don't worry, Quantum Break will still be on Game Pass for the foreseeable future. It's just taking a break while they figure those issues out. Pokemon Stadium is coming to the Switch Online expansion pack this coming week. So that's a shot of nostalgia for some folks.
What did that come out on initially?
N64.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I remember that
I was
was a
gonna
big
say the
deal 'cause
expansion pack now
Pokemon
accounts
was
for GBA and stuff.
Pokemon
too,
was a
so.
Game Boy game. Like that was it. We just played it on Game Boy, and it was like really basic sprites, but it was awesome. And you used your imagination to try to see like these monsters in real life. That was as close as we got. And then I guess the cartoon was the next best thing as far as like seeing the
Yeah.
monsters. And then all of a sudden, when Stadium came out, it was just like, dude,
And it came with
3D
an
versions
attachment,
of the
right?
monsters. It came
It
with
came with
what?
the attachment within the controller. You could put your game in it,
Put
your Game Boy game,
Yes.
Pokemon
and actually
stuff.
transfer.
And
like,
yeah,
this
the
party.
transfer was mind blowing. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Like,
Wow.
I can use my Pokemon that I've been on
See, I
this
never
journey.
played
this Pikachu
Pokemon, so I
since
didn't
was
know about
6,
all that.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I rented
Yeah.
that from Hollywood Video and kept renewing it because it was
Hollywood
so
Video.
fun.
Oh my god.
Hollywood Video. Yeah, dude.
I worked there too. I worked at Blockbuster and Hollywood. I was a betrayer of Blockbuster. That's what I did.
You're a double agent.
No, double.
Dirty
He's a secret
rat.
agent.
Dirty rat.
dare you.
Miyamoto says to watch out for Mario game news in a future Nintendo Direct. So in a interview with Variety, he was asked about the next Mario game, you know, getting ready for the movie to launch and the Super Mario World theme park opening. And apparently the translation reads something to the effect of, well, all I can say is please stay tuned for future Nintendo Directs. So people are reading into that a bit much as if like the next Direct will have
I
a
hope
Mario
he means
announcement.
this
Right,
year. That's
right.
all I. That's all.
But I don't think that's the case. But I do think that means that some sort of Mario announcement is imminent. Hopefully in the next few months,
Yeah.
if not.
Do we want an Odyssey 2 or something different?
I don't think they'll do Odyssey 2.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
You think it'll be like what, like
a?
a?
Well, because they did Galaxy 2. That was like the
It's
first.
true. Yeah.
time
And
they
if
did
you
that,
like
right?
Zelda, it's getting kind of a Breath of the Wild too. You
Yeah,
know? So it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're,
yeah.
they're in a
Maybe
sequel
they'll
mode.
They
I
did Galaxy 2, which was excellent, like you said, and so that was awesome. So I could see them
Yep.
doing that. Like, let's just build on that.
Maybe they'll
I
do like
think-
Mario, but like God
I
of
feel
War.
like they're
and he's
always
got
trying to
son.
innovate with
God of
Mario. I feel like they're always
Mario
trying to
with
go
the
for it.
axe and a scar
Yeah.
on his face.
Hey, boy, shut up.
It
But-
took my toad.
You know what? I just I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be. I think they missed their window for a movie tie-in because a movie tie-in would have been cool. Like if they had somehow figured out
Yeah.
a game that
That movie would have had been it would have been ready to go, and like even if it's 3 months away, like I feel like you're missing your window. We
yeah,
move
I
too
think they
quick
missed
these
the window
days.
on that one. So brand new Mario, make it interesting. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm in for it.
Mario
To
RPG,
BSR, it'd be
give
better.
me
People have speculated that the Bowser's Fury add-on to Mario 3D World was a kind of a precursor to what the next Mario game will be, which would be great. That was a really fun add-on piece if you haven't tried it.
Yeah.
But I just don't want it to be. This is gonna sound like I'm anti like 2D, and I'm not. But I don't want another 2D Mario to be the next big Mario. Like
I
if you're gonna
agree.
make one, that's cool. Make a 2D Mario if you want to, but I want another big 3D adventure.
If they want
Sure.
to do one kind of in the same vein of Yoshi, is it Yoshi's Paper World or something like that? I don't. Whatever. I would
There
still
was
kind of be
the
like, I would be
crafted
a little
world. There was the
disappointed.
crafted one.
Crafted
Crafted
World.
World, yeah.
So if they
Yeah.
did that, I would be a little disappointed, but I would still be like, I mean, it's adorable and I would have fun, but
Yeah.
like,
It was
I
fun. It was fun.
I honestly think they're gonna remake 64. Like I think that's in the cards.
I would
think
love
they're
that,
gonna- I
man.
think they're
That'd
gonna
be
completely
amazing.
remake it. You know,
I would
with
love that
like
because
you know,
it's a little
state-of-the-art
bit of a rough
controls.
revisit that game is. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't.
very.
It's like one of the
Very.
very first like 3D games ever. You know?
Yeah.
At least
I
I
will
controlled
say
that,
we didn't say this during the talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but they did have a really at the very beginning. I really liked the side-scrolling little sequence that they had between the two as they're trying to get to their first plumbing job.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just like, what a nice.
It was
little,
like an uncut little parkour moment where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're doing the platforming thing.
yeah. So
And also they alluded to Luigi's Mansion where
Oh,
he
that
like
was great.
enters a house
yeah.
that's abandoned. He's like, Mario.
Mario?
That's a
oh,
spin-
yeah, it's
That's a
great moment.
spin-off. That's
well,
a
and
spin-off
they
right
mixed
there.
in some
Happened.
Luigi's Mansion music with the score.
did.
It was great. It was
did.
great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was a great moment.
God of War Ragnarok got a surprise update, which includes New
Wow.
Game Plus.
Wow.
They didn't really pump this one up. They didn't really talk about it until they were just like, "Oh, by the way, that's out now." It also
Yeah,
has
that's it if you want to get it.
new
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way.
equipment, new enchantments, increased level cap. So they're giving you a reason to keep on going.
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and do it honestly, like because I mean I don't think I maxed out at all. So that would be so much fun.
Yeah, New Game Plus, you'll be able to start a new game, carry over all your equipment, weapons, and skills, with the exception of Sonic and Hex arrows because those are locked behind story
Yeah.
moments.
Those are tied to intrinsically to certain characters, yeah,
Correct.
and story moments. Yeah.
Arc 2, as we referenced earlier, has been delayed to 2024. So
Oh no,
R.I.P.
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
about raptor families.
It's over. It's over.
if
guys.
it's family dinosaurs, I'm just gonna love it so much.
Be
Lean into
disappointed
it.
if it's not.
I know.
Disappointed with that.
Legendary Entertainment has purchased the film and TV rights to the Street Fighter series.
Oh, geez.
So that's interesting. So
Legendary
this is
makes good stuff for the most part.
Dune and Godzilla versus Kong and all right, and a lot more.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that were called out.
Competent is what that strikes me as.
Yeah, there you go.
I had somebody throwing a fit about because it was around the same time as like, well, Wana's getting a live action remake, and everybody's like, why? It's so perfect in the animated form. It makes no sense. And then somebody was throwing a fit about this news too, and I'm like, you realize that the Street Fighter movies that we got are trash, right? Like,
oh, so bad.
If ever there was a justification for a remake, it's
oh no, there was
there was a Chun-Li one that
came out. I just remembered.
Yeah, it was wasn't it? Yeah. Who was it?
Kristen Kruick.
Was it the girl from Smallville?
Smallville, yeah, from Smallville.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was her.
Because it was what's that actress's name?
It's one of those actresses that you're like, oh, I guess she's Asian. You know, it's one of those like,
yeah.
All right.
You're not 100% sure, like.
Yeah. Okay.
And then didn't I don't know his name at all, but dude from Black Eyed Peas played what's his face with
Vega?
the claws. Vega, yeah. It was
oh
like,
my
what?
gosh, really?
Like,
Will I Am?
What? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, it was the other guy with the long hair, right?
The guy who never says anything, contributes anything to the band.
Sure.
Yeah.
He just dances around with his hair flapping around. Yeah.
He just comes out and says, "Everybody."
Yeah, it was
everybody.
Vega.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody, and that's it.
That guy was Vega.
He had like compromising photos of them or something. I don't know how he was in that band.
Compromising.
The producers are like, "Okay, I'll put you in the movie."
Okay, fine. Be on stage.
You've been compromised.
Final Fantasy 1 through 6 pixel remasters are coming to Switch and PS4 April 19th.
I've never played any of these.
I've got them all on Steam already. So
I'm going to stream.
I want them on Switch.
When I get that, I'm going to stream them not back to back because I like to like kind of mix things up in between, but I'm going to play them in order. I've never actually finished, except for 5. I've never finished, and which is crazy because 4 and 6 are like some of the more popular ones. I've gotten super, super, super far in them. I just never finished them. So
that's the most shocking news I've heard tonight.
Same here. When you said that in chat like earlier this week, I'm like, I feel like
you were joking for a sec.
Oh. No, like wow. in four, for example, like Tim, you've played 4, right?
I have.
When you get the whale.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay.
Like Dude, I've gotten that far.
There's a whale in that one, just like Star Trek 4. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like if you still have that save somewhere, you're probably not that many hours away.
So that was in the DS version. So I got the furthest in the DS version, and I don't have that anymore. So,
gotcha.
But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to playing them. You know,
are these how the Final Fantasy 1 through 6? Are they all like pixelated? Like that's how old they were.
Yeah.
So these are just remasters
of
the
those 3D one.
Those versions of the game, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Listen,
if you're only gonna try one. If you're listening or watching this, I still think 6 is the definitive one of that era. And I know people will say, no, it's 4. Some might even say 5.
I do like 4 more,
but I think 6 is the definitive one for story, for characters.
I just want to play them all. I mean, I'm kind of like...
6 has got an awesome story.
I'm over here catching up on
6
franchises.
Is great. I'm with Tim. I think 6 is
Listen, 4 is excellent. Like, start with 4.
4 is excellent. With the Black
play
Knight and all
4.
that stuff.
As long as you don't leave out 6. Like, get to 6. Even if you don't want to do that one.
What's fun about 6 is, like, you have 1, 2, 3, 4... So the first 5 are like medieval fantasy, and then 6 is like we're gonna do something a little different. It's not actually medieval I mean, there is like fantasy.
It's a little nebulous because there's like some steampunk, some fantasy.
It's sort of steampunk fantasy, like sort of like tech, kind of future tech, but not
there's
really.
There's guns involved.
Yeah, like it's a very interesting like theme of like whatever.
So 7 is when they started doing 3D, like on PS1. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it was
the big like block fists as you're talking.
Yeah, I've
polygon,
seen
polygon like
which was originally going to be on the Nintendo 64. Like they had the prototype going of 7
like
on 64.
Sony came in and ruined everything.
Yeah,
they did.
They need to be investigated by our government for rigging the
They came in and they're like, "Hey, do you not want to make this on a stupid cartridge?" And Square was like, "Please, yes."
Yeah. And we're gonna give you so much more money, and they're like, You know what? They're still doing that.
They're like, those cutscenes
it's like, hey, did you want to make that on our PS5? They're like, yeah.
Those cutscenes are going to require 4 more cartridges to switch.
Right,
Switch
exactly.
it out and then put back the other one in the gameplay. Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Sony has such a like cool like hold on the Final Fantasy franchise. And
imagine that timeline though.
That was the game.
Imagine that timeline where the 7 is on 64. Like, I wonder what that future is. I wonder.
Are they more polygonal? Like how? I don't know how that game looks worse than it does.
N64 had we should talk about this sometime. There are some real great gems on the N64 that no one played because they're like, well, N64 doesn't have good RPGs, and I'm like, okay, generally speaking, that is true compared to their competitors.
Okay,
Sure.
what about Go?
Play like Ogre Battle 64, one of the greatest strategic RPGs made, and it's only on the N64.
Yeah.
But hardly anyone's played it because N64 people didn't care about.
I can't think of one RPG that I played on N64. I just wasn't RPG
There was
household,
some crappy ones like Quest 64. That was not a good game.
Sure.
But yeah, like Ogre Battle 64 is like top tier.
Battle, yeah.
It's so good. But anyway, I digress. Gamescom Opening Night Live is returning for August 22nd. Jeff Keighley confirmed to host, so that'll be fun.
You are going to come here. You want to come to our stage? Yeah. Gamescom.
Show games. You show games.
They're very excited, but they sound angry. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
Amazon's gaming division is taking a hit. They're laying off over 100 employees. It does sound like that's. I think for the gaming division that's a lot, but I could be wrong. I don't know if they.
Is it? Oh, okay. I was gonna say Amazon's like employs like millions of people. So it's just surprising.
I don't know how many people they have like on gaming because
that's true.
Tank. You know.
Well, they had New World, right? Or they have New World, but I mean, it blew up like right when it came out. But I haven't really heard anybody.
It also blew up computers.
Well, they have. Didn't they do Lost Ark, or was that someone else?
I don't remember.
I think that was them. I think that was
pretty popular. But,
I think that's still going. Yeah.
They must have a small division then. That's probably like 25% of their. It's probably really small.
It's just the people who picked out their free games each month. They're like, we don't need them to do that.
Sure. Marketing people.
Yeah. No Man's Sky's Interceptor update kind of came out. I got to tell you, Kyle said this earlier. They keep making just a better version of this game every time they update it. It's just like, here's a better version.
Kind of insane.
But it's adding corrupted worlds that you can discover and Sentinel jetpacks. You can explore these corrupted worlds, take charge of your own salvaged Sentinel Interceptor starship, so a new type of starship that you can take over. And Sentinels, of course, are the AI bots that will attack you on certain planets. Sometimes they're super aggressive. Sometimes they'll wait until they like happen to see you killing a creature or destroying the planet. They'll start like giving you a warning they're going to attack. In some cases, they start targeting you as soon as you hit the atmosphere because they do not like you. It just depends. Every planet's different. And so anyway, now you can use some of their gear and this thing called a Aeron Turbojet jetpack, which is cool. You already kind of have a jetpack to help you do almost a double jump and hover, but this sounds like there's more of a flying mechanic.
That's rad.
So this game is it's so
keeps
much
on
better.
Giving, man.
Never ends.
So much better. It's crazy. Last but not least, RE4 did have that free Mercenaries update that we talked about, but it also added this new paid DLC called Exclusive Upgrade Tickets, which is already in the game, and you can spend in-game currency to get these, where basically you get the max upgrade for any weapon. Either you upgrade every other part of it maxed out, and then you can upgrade it, or you can buy a special ticket with these little pink gems that you collect. But now you can also spend real world money on these. They're $3 each.
Pay to win. Ugh.
Basically.
Honestly, if I loved the game enough, I would totally do that just to be like, I just want to beat it. I just want to beat it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm one of those.
You're part of the problem, Jeff.
I'll tell you, man. Upgrading your guns in that game makes a huge difference. Like you could be struggling to upgrade a gun to a certain point.
Now
like,
suddenly your bullets go through 3 people instead of just one.
Yeah.
You know? You're like, oh,
so the last boss fight there for me was pretty easy because I had the Magnum big boy. That thing.
The Killer 7.
Yeah.
Killer 7 is
upgraded.
awesome.
Yeah. It wasn't fully upgraded, but I mean that thing is pretty beefy right out the gate.
Standard Magnum, like the butterfly killer, whatever it's called, that one.
Right.
That one's cool, but then you get the Killer 7, where it's like it's firing at a speed of a pistol almost, and it's as powerful as a Magnum.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Good stuff. All right, that's all I've got. Like I know it's been an extra long show, but it's been a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us for this week. Is there anything I'm forgetting that you guys were like, I wanted to talk about this? And Tim,
I would just encourage people to go watch Dave season 3 if you're already caught up on the show, of course, or just watch the show in general on Hulu because that's just one of the funniest comedies on the planet. And the second episode of season 3 is just one of my favorite 22 minutes of TV ever. Like it's so. I think Kyle watched
the show where
there's a
kid who gets a wooden shirt or something. Is there an episode with the wood and he falls over? I feel like I'm remembering a clip. I
don't remember that bit.
I know what bit you're talking about, but I think that's a different show, and I can't remember what. I can't remember what.
I can't remember what either. Hilarious. No, this is about a Jewish white rapper, but he raps about
that's the guy. So maybe he did a skit. He might have done.
He
a skit
came
in
from
something
YouTube
else.
skits and stuff. Yeah, so
That
it
might
could have
have
been from something like that.
because I know it was.
But
him.
like,
Yeah.
the second episode's all about him shooting a music video, and they're trying to reach a deadline and trying to make, trying to meet daylight. Like, oh, we still have light. We got to rush through this. And it felt like they really did shoot it all in like one day. I don't think they did, but it was just so like, I don't know. The camera's just constantly moving, and there's all these like not zero takes. What do you call it? Continuous shots and stuff.
So
and
long
like
shots. Yeah.
him being confused by a production assistant saying she picked up coffee and she was like saying Jewy, and he was like confused. He was like gesturing just slowly. Does she mean me? Like, was that a nickname for me? And then an Asian guy comes up and goes, "Oh, that's me."
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
There's so much like little just like throwaway jokes like that. And then there's like a really, really funny moment that I was watching it at work, like in a minimized window. And I was laughing so hard, like at work in my office. Like, it was embarrassing.
At Juby.
No, I was right. It is from season 1, episode 7.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wood shirts.
I gotta rewatch this show. There's so many, like, some episodes are just like, there's so many jokes padded in there that you have to watch it again. It's one of those shows. It's so funny, dude. It's funny in a really dumb way where you can't believe this guy's successful because of how stupid he is and neurotic he is. It's great.
His music videos were comedy episodes in and of themselves.
The first scene of the episode 1 of season 3 is like a music video of him and doing it with somebody and having an awkward conversation with each other. And I'm like, if somebody were like to peek over my shoulder right now, as I'm watching this, they'd be like, "You watching porn at work? What are you doing?" Because it's like a half-naked girl and she's really attractive. But he's like, if you listen to the content, like, because I'm listening to it in headphones, right? So nobody that would be looking over my shoulder would hear that he's talking about, do you have time for this? I don't think I have time for this. I got to go to work. And it's just the most ridiculous rap. It's it's so funny.
Check out Dave if you haven't yet. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here so late, especially Dan, you're on the East Coast. But I'm in Mountain Time and I'm wiped out too. So I'm gonna go to bed.
Same.
I'm out.
I can't believe it being 2 hours later somewhere.
I know.
I'm in the
All right,
future.
guys. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you.